Yeah, I mean, I think so, right? I think Spirit definitely, it's kind of nice that
Let's
they
go.
get to face
Ayan
LGD
na.
to start the tournament, and now to end the tournament, they get to close out the games versus them.
Let's
I think they
go,
were very much
let's
looking forward to like
go.
that rematch, right? I'm pretty sure.
Rematch
I mean, I
ng
think every
TI-10.
single pro player is going to go into every game thinking we're the best team. We're gonna
Rematch
win,
lang to ng
but
TI-10
after
eh.
being dismantled
Tingnan
like that 2
natin.
games in a row, I'm sure they're
Tignan natin kung rematch ng TI-10 to.
Curious for another side thing as well from a pro player perspective. Seb,
Matatalo na kaya
what is your
LGD.
personal preference? Do you rather have
Matinding
be the last one
ano
to
to,
play,
pressure.
just come in a little bit more warmed up?
Well, hindi pa naman TI pero
Or do you rather be the team that played earlier and could watch your
diba?
I think
Hype to,
I'd
hype.
rather be the team that played earlier and watch your opponent, but at the same time, then the fatigue can come in.
Let's
I think it
go.
really depends. The fact that it's a best of 3 might also matter a little bit, because usually, you know, on the last day for the lower bracket team, you have a best of 3 into a best of 5, and that can just be too much.
Right.
It's just too long of a time span. In that case, that might differ a little bit. But
Let's go,
to be fair, it just
guys.
depends on also the team. You know, like some teams have a good time, you know, like they like to analyze, they like to take their time, think about it. Some just like to be kind of in the heat of the moment. So it just really depends on the team's identity, I would say.
Yeah, and obviously both of these teams have been in this situation before. Again, this is the TI-10 Grand Final rematch. And Seb, I know it's something that you've talked about in the past, where playing online, playing in this DPC, where you can, you know, spend a week prepping for another team to face. You know, it's a very different type of mental and physical fortitude that you are able to bring to this. So how do you think these teams have modified that, considering they are playing so many games in such a short span of time?
No, I mean, it must have had a big impact, and I think it's also a reason why these teams are here, right? Like, if you're going to be in TI finals, it means you're a team that can get really smart at adapting. You know, at adapting when it comes to your own things, but also at understanding the opponent and the opposition and just the metagame of the tournament, and kind of picking what's the best and, you know, leaving out what's the worst. And these are the teams that we have here now. We have teams that are incredibly smart at, yeah, putting distance with. I'm sure they completely forgot about the DPC. The whole meta only revolves about this tournament now. You know, what have teams done, what worked, what didn't.
And there's a beauty to it, right? Like the wake up, think about Dota as it's happening, you know, go to bed, think about what's happened during the day, living in the present, right? As opposed to having to live 6 weeks in the future. This is what Dota grew up on. And we're seeing that feeling yet again here on this grand stage. I'm sure that Silent and Siaba are really excited about this, because this is how they grew up with Dota.
Yeah, I mean, like, as soon as LGD landed, right, we caught them in the lobby when we were coming here for day 1. They had the first day off, as they were the last team to arrive, and they were just like immediately in pubs, right? Yes. Like, it's that mentality when you get to land. DPC, right? Like, it doesn't matter. It's all about here. It's all about this best of 3 series.
And it takes very different skills for teams to perform here instead of DPC. Obviously, then here there's the pressure, there's the audience, you know, like the maybe the higher stakes. Of course, DPC points are important, but you have the entire year to kind of make up for it. Here, there's no room for mistakes. Everything's going to happen over 4 or 5 days. The meta evolves much quicker. You have teams kind of clashing with each other, clashing ideas, so you got to be well aware of what's going on. You know, you got to be paying attention so that you can perform
kaya
at
nila
the very
Magnus?
crucial moment of the game, which is the drafting phase that just started.
Exactly.
Even just the minor things, right? Like, yeah, sure, teams go on boot
Yo,
camps, so they're able to play
lang
around each other together, but sometimes people have the comfort of playing from their home. Very different on LAN. You know, it's a new setting. Some people are able to adapt better than others, so let's see if that plays a part in this one. Now, I just want to highlight, as we begin this draft, the matches that were played previously, where in 29-minute on average, LGD were able to steamroll through Team Spirit, and that was where we saw that Arme Lone Druid come for the first time in 2 years.
And the second time.
Yeah, he played it back-to-back alongside the Razor, so this time around, Razor, it is dealt with during the banning phase, this time by LGD, because Team Spirit have the first pick and they still value it as a very strong hero, but who knows what could come out, some of these more unique gotcha picks.
Yeah, and LGD is certainly showing some adjustment. Usually teams end up banning the Razor against them right in their first series.
Relax lang yung
no?
Tspirit na.
The second time around when LGD had second pick, they still even first picked it on their turn. So showing that they're going to be adjusting a couple of things here as they look to open up the draft.
And Marcy's not banned this time. It actually gets to come on through. So it doesn't have the pairing together with the Razor, of course, one of the stronger laners. But again, it's so versatile, right? We've even seen in separate regions, some people play at a position 3 role.
Good
you know,
morning,
you're able
everyone.
to be that more
Game
brawling
number
style.
1
You
pa
can
lang
really
to.
take advantage of your
Ng
sidekick
finals.
and become a core that actually just rips apart someone else rather than being, you know, position 4, position 5. You can itemize for it, but you know, if it's actually a core and you're able to get that initial farm, you're in a really good spot.
Yeah, I'm still questioning this Razor ban, to be honest, but we'll see how it develops throughout the series. I feel like both teams have like nicer, more deadlier, you know, tools to use than a Razor. At the end of the day, the Marcy comes up. I mean, you think of the, so you had the Pug versus Tiny kind of thing happening, where if Tiny's banned, you know, it's one of the better heroes, that at least one of the favorite heroes for teams to pick up against the Pug. So Team Spirit respecting the nothing to say Pug and understanding that this might be a way to protect it. It could have been, you know, Wyvern into Puck if Tiny was not banned. So Team Spirit are going to remove that. We see the Wyvern that has been one of the biggest heroes of the tournament, at least in the playoffs. You know, in the group stage, maybe it was hard to kind of see the trend, but in the playoffs, it's been really clear. It's been, yeah, one of the, you know, highest priority for all the teams.
So I do want to talk about this Wyvern, just even the style for PSG.LGD, right? They are all in on the team fight. That is their style. Like, that is the way that they play Dota. But Team Spirit, when they've been able to pick up this Marcy, it's always been on mirror. It's always been in that position 4 role. If this is indeed another collapse Viper coming through, it's such a strong lane, right? And in my opinion, the way to be able to beat this Marcian lane, you got to pick a stun. You got to get something that's able to take advantage of her when she tries to use, you know, the dispose, the rebound, put herself in that more vulnerable position where she thinks she can get away with that extra movement speed, when in fact, it's exactly the opposite. You could turn around and look to punish her.
Let me derail this though, because we got a Pango, and we haven't seen a Pango given this high priority. Is this back to what you were saying, Seb, where you're trying to get a massive flex perhaps and not reveal anything? Or is there actually some value to the Pango that we haven't seen from other teams?
I mean, it is a flex in the sense that ZQ plays Pango, Faith Beyond plays Pango. Of course, it's less played in other roles than mid because of the changes, but probably still viable if it's a really good Pango game. It synergizes pretty well with Wyvern, you know, a lot of team fight, a lot of early game presence. Okay. And yeah, I mean, the Buck is out, the Tiny is out, the Ember has not been working, the Zeus is out. So if you think, you know, what mid laners are people gonna, you know, are these players gonna put like rate high in priority, there's gonna be the second phase in which a lot of mid laners could also be taken out. So this could have been a reason. I think, you know, most of the mid laners that have been dominant in this tournament are now either banned or about to be banned. Okay. Could explain why they were like, this Pango, it's too high value, we gotta pick it now.
Okay. Well, now if we move on to the Viper dialogue in the very beginning, Rich, if you want to, the very beginning, we talked about Viper being flexed between, you know, offlane and 5. We've seen it mostly in the offlane, but it's usually because teams cover for that potential 5 Viper. Could this be a threat that LGD needs to concern themselves with?
Yeah, absolutely. Right, I mean, I think anytime you have such a strong lane, such as the Marcy Viper lane, you'd like to try and shoehorn Team Spirit into something a little bit weaker, right? I think that is going to be a big threat, especially when they can just open up and sort of blind pick this into a Wyvern who, to be honest, isn't going to really be able to do too much here. You can continue to stack the poison attacks, right? You can be super efficient with it, and there's not a lot the Winter Wyverns will be able to do. Now, I do want to say that I believe that both times LGD have picked the Pango, it's gone mid. For nothing to say this tournament, they picked it twice and won with it twice against Nigma and Tundra.
Xingqiu also loves to play the Wyvern though, right? It's not locked into that position 5 role. I wonder if they're going to go for any kind of BKB piercing. Disable on Team Spirit, Marcy, Viper both don't have a way to deal with a Pango right now. Right. So something like a Death Prophet that's still able to do some magic damage into, you know, things like the Cold Embrace. You've got the BKB. Exorcism's going to be able to deal with the Pangolier a little bit. Bane, we've seen have varying levels of success. Beastmaster, if this Viper just wants to switch to being a position 5 instead, they've got options.
I mean, right now Team Spirit is putting a lot of emphasis on this Viper. They're trying to protect the Viper 5 by banning the Prophet, the Viper 3 by banning the Jogger. I'll be honest, I think it's a mistake against LGD. I think you need to kind of assume that they will figure out, you cannot corner them into a bad lane against Viper. They have a million ways to answer it. They will find the right way. You know, I remember even Ame playing TB, going jungle early, like that was a long time ago. But there's a lot of kind of flashbacks that run in my head, but they will deal with this Viper one way or another. I'd rather have Team Spirit kind of focus more on the bigger picture, how the game is gonna develop. You know, how we're gonna match LGD's aggression or their scaling potential or the way we're gonna fight into them. I don't think you can just pick the one Viper and be like, well, they were gonna do, you know, Jogger Prophet ban.
Riyadh Masters.
I don't think it's going to happen. So I'd like to see them, you know, switch a little bit.
BO3 lang to mga sir, dito
BO5. Well protected, and it probably
LGD at saka Team Spirit.
I know it's gonna be a little bit less of a factor
Parang
if it indeed
lang,
is
no?
going to be a Xingqiu Pangolier. I still feel like the Pango is best played in that mid role. It hasn't been banned out yet, but the Bloodseeker has been receiving a higher priority of bans this tournament. Obviously, you just need a couple of items and then you're just so strong, right? Maelstrom, BKB, you can immediately join in on the team fights, completely nullifies the Pango's influence, and it even gives you the option to put that Viper into a position 5 role and just dominate the lane.
The other problem with this Viper pick is that they're not going to be able to flex it, you know, forever as PSG, sorry, is second pick. So eventually Team Spirit is going to have to reveal where the Viper is going.
And there's the Bloodseeker ban out from LGD to make sure that this core Pango probably, now especially because they show that it's going to be a Wyvern and support duo by the looks of things. They want to have that be priority. Spirit can still look, if they would like to, go for the Grimstroke. I'll give that hero a nod because I feel like as an off-lane Viper, right, when you are putting this much ban priority into protecting it, making sure it can win its lane, he does struggle after the laning stage to sometimes get and feel his impact. At least if you can double the Viper strike, make it so you can hit that second target, it's a little bit, right?
It's a little bit scary against an Ench, like one of the better counters against Rim because of the Inkswell mechanic. You need a Juggernaut to kind of, you know, deal with it, else it's kind of a really hard lane for Grimstroke to go into. One thing to say about the Ench, even though, you know, it's counterintuitive, of course, Viper kind of deals with the Ench because of the break mechanic, but during the laning phase, Ench is probably one of the deadliest heroes for Viper to lane against. Especially if the carry has some sort of aggression potential, like the creep, the enchant, the impetus. It's too much for Viper to deal with. Marcy's not going to be able to help the Viper, so here you see with this Ench pick, like PSG.LGD, they're dealing with the Viper. They understand that this is, for now, the only threat that Team Spirit is throwing at them. And yeah, they're looking to try to abuse that. And obviously the Sky pick now is going to balance that a little bit more. One of the better heroes to play against Ench in the early game and probably to help the Viper.
We see the Ember pick as well. We talked about this as a good pick against Pango, but he's currently 1 in 7, the Ember. Is there renewed faith in it? Toronto Tokyo, has he tried it yet, Denok, in this tournament?
I think he might have played it once in this tournament. Were they the team that actually beat deboosters with the Ember Spirit?
No, that was LGD. That was nothing to say.
Okay, well then, no. It hasn't had too much success at all throughout this tournament coming through. So yeah, hasn't been picked up, but it is a hero that, again, he had great success with at TI. So clearly they're thinking that, you know, maybe this Pango is going to be mid, maybe they need some damage that you don't care about. Things like the Untouchable can still slight into the Rolling Thunder, but I mean, what pace that they're setting up here on LGD with the Lone Druid plus Enchantress lane. It's so deadly, man. Like, the Viper, you need to get on top of him, and you need to try and bully him very effectively. So, I mean, is this going to be like now a 5 Skywrath mage? Because the Marcy's going to need to be there to just give him that movement speed to be able to get away?
I think the Marcy needs to help the Viper somehow, because Viper's going to struggle a lot against Lone Druid on the lane, unless Marcy can get on top on the Lone Druid. I think Marcy, one of the better heroes in the early game against the Lone Druid. You always get on top of him, close the gap with the bear. You know, you don't have to worry about the harass, the entangle. I wonder if Lone Druid players would, you know, think about getting an early point in Savage Roar, which is going to be super effective. You know, after Marcy W, you just roar him away. Now suddenly the matchup turns. It's a very uncommon build. So maybe they don't do that, and then I could be worried about the Lone Druid's life on that lane.
Yeah, I'm worried about the Lone Druid's timings here, especially with the Pangolier. I think I'm worried for Team Spirit. How are they going to look to deal with this, especially because right now, none of these 4 heroes, when you've got, you know, your Diffusal, Pango, and I don't know, like Basher, Mask of Madness, even with an Aegis on this Lone Druid, and they come pushing high ground, no one from Spirit wants to be frontlining that, right?
Nice
you look at these bans, and I think LGD have taken out a couple of good options, right? The Naga Siren for cutting waves, as well as just having, you know, the illusions, so that LD is going to struggle to deal with, and the Bristle, who would have been nice as well for that front line.
Such a good like
carry.
They banned it. Okay.
It's a Luna, okay. Well, I was just really thinking of what are the heroes that Spirit could go for that would be able to respond to the Pangolier, right? We're assuming it's going to be a Pango mid. You just want to be able to stand and fight against it. Bloodseeker good at doing that, of course, with
really good Darkseer game.
Yeah, it's a pretty good Darkseer game, for sure. I mean, you might be able to flex this one a little bit. Could you maybe even put the Wyvern mid and then put the Pango into that position 4 role just so you can get better usage out of the Ion Shell?
That would be very interesting, especially because Wyvern is one of the better heroes at killing the Viper from afar. Also very effective against the Luna. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah, this last pick, it has to do a lot for LGD. Team Spirit, they have a very scary early game lineup that can, you know, pace on LGDs. I feel like this last pick could salvage it though. I would say that LGD right now, they have the superior scaling, but Team Spirit's heroes, they can be really fast.
I was about to say,
late game.
Like, I'm just thinking of the good Luna matchups outside of that.
That's a great pick.
Master, okay. Something else coming out. I mean, the AoE Dispel is going to be really effective, not just for the Ancient Seal defensively, but also gets rid of the Flame Guard, gets rid of a lot of these Marcy buffs as well. Viper, poison attacks, it's pretty damn solid. And they've got ways to be able to enable it, right?
Game
you just
number
toss out the Cinder Brew,
Red
plenty of
Masters
ways
mga
to
tol.
deal that magic damage from afar with we're assuming going to Wyvern in the position 4 role.
Yeah, I like the pick as well, right? It's kind of one of these fights where eventually the Luna is going to need to, at some stage, 1v5 with Ember, adding in some chip damage and a little bit of control. You get 1 or even 2 or dare I say with a refresher 4 lifts up onto the Luna, and I really do think Spirit are going to have some damage issues in these fights.
We're gonna have to see. I mean, seeing these final picks, you're talking some issues with damage, but Spirit can play this quickly. What is it they require to do in this early game, Seb, for them to take away this game?
I feel like Spirit, they have a timing, which is, you know, the early game spellcasting from these heroes, the Skyra, Silence, the Ember Chains. LGD heroes are gonna die to these spells. I think the second they stop dying to these spells, through items, through better formation, I think they take the game. I would like to think they have a superior draft.
Okay. Will Team Spirit spellcasting be good enough? We're gonna have to find out with our 2 casters for this game, Decup and Black. Oh, I can't hear them.
I can't hear them
The
either.
grand final. Should be the grand final. It is the grand final, and here we are. I think they can, you know, they hear us. They're ready to go. We're ready to get into this one. It's a TI-10 rematch.
Indeed.
There a little bit, but looking pretty exciting. Should be really exciting. And what are you looking at here? What's the thing that sticks at you most when you're looking at both these drafts?
Well, you know me. I told you about the Lone Druid already previously, I think a day or 2 ago, so I'm going to have to side with the PSG draft just because their pushing power could be very overwhelming early on, and I just believe Lone Druid at this very moment in this patch is pretty busted, and I've also seen Armor play it a lot in pub games, and he has been playing it like to perfection pretty much, so putting a lot of stock on that. But of course Team Spirit, they have a lot of team fight as well, they have a lot of burst damage, a lot of magic burst especially, so if they're not too careful on LGD, they can easily get overrun in the early game.
Yeah, so how safe do they have to be? Because something we've noticed in the Chinese DPC is supports that heal, and they've got 2 of them. They've got both the Winter Wyvern as well as the Enchantress. Supports that heal, keep the lane pretty good. Maybe you see one of these 2 cores in the side lanes go a little bit greedy if they don't want to pick up that regen to start off.
It's definitely always a possibility, especially Lone Druid doesn't really need that much regen, just because of the Spirit Bond, I think it's called, where you just get healed every time the bear attacks something.
Right.
So yeah, it's gonna be, the laning phase should be not simple for LGD, but they can definitely come out on top.
It's interesting to see why he's gone straight Bracer. You've got just the Ironwood branches here for the Lone Druid, and then of course on the bear you've got the Quelling Blade and the Blightstone. He calls the bear Setsu.
Yeah.
All right.
A name familiar to all the China fans, of course.
If you know the Chinese teams, you definitely know Setsu for sure. So maybe Setsu can do a good job here. Maybe he gets hired by LGD after if this bear does a good enough job. But on the opposite side, you've of course got Team Spirit, and right now looking like it's going to be Ame in so much trouble. First blood going the way of Team Spirit. Maybe he won't get hired, and while the bear not doing his job at the moment, Mira gets first blood for Spirit. And they're going to look for a second. They want this Enchantress. He goes to the heal. But they won't chase and commit onto Y. He's got Nature's Attendance first with the Bracer first item.
Yeah, so he's definitely looking to trade a whole lot. But yeah, Lone Druid, you're definitely pretty dependent on winning a lane early and then snowballing through that. Because otherwise your bear won't be tanky enough in the mid game. But against Viper, it should be a pretty easy Lone Druid lane. Sure, that first blood is a little bit unfortunate, but shouldn't be seeing too much more aggression onto him in the bot lane.
Who's level 2 is going to stick out? Like, we see a lot of teams get aggressive level 2 the second it hits. Obviously, Marcy's one of those characters that once you've got the rebound and the dispose, you're going to make that jump and play aggressive. Is there someone else around the map that's going to be as aggressive as we see Marcy's be with that level 2?
I mean, Skyruff is also an insane hero at level 2.
Right.
And obviously we have the Skyruff Luna lane. It's a lot of burst damage coming out in the top lane. If CQ and FaveBeyond are not too careful, they can definitely get easily overwhelmed by that. Looking at the region real quick, they did bring a fair amount of tangles into the lane and probably some healing stuff later on as well. Ame is dead again.
Yeah, Ame in trouble and gone.
No bear.
Another kill, and he's going to be without the bear for 75 seconds in this lane. 2 deaths before the 2-minute mark. Spirit, it's like they never left Romania.
Yeah, that is not supposed to happen on Lone Druid. It's basically the worst case scenario. You die first blood, you resummon your bear, you die again, your laning phase is pretty much done already. So we'll have to see how he can recover into this lane, but Marcy Viper is an incredibly aggressive lane where if you're not careful, they will snowball into you. FaveBeyond.
Beyond, he is also in a lot of trouble.
Yes,
They've got the Arcane Bolt again if need be. sitting here at 130 health. ZAKU still just level 1, and now finally hits that level 2. This mid lane is something we haven't talked about just yet. It's nothing to say on the Pangolier. Certainly a hero that he has shown prowess on. He loves going around with the Rolling Thunder as well as the Blink Dagger. We've seen defusals on Pangolier. How is a matchup like that supposed to go between these two heroes?
I mean, Ember Spirit is supposed to be like a soft counter to Pangolier. I don't really think many heroes beat Pangolier in lane, so it should just be a 5-5 farm trade. As I say that though, he has to be careful. You don't want to give up any unnecessary kills. But yeah, like level 6 Ember, basically you can never kill him with the Rolling Thunder. The Searing Chains stop you from swashbuckling or moving with the shield crash, and you can't ulti either.
Right.
So Toronto Tokyo is definitely having the matchup advantage in that one. How's Ame looking? 7 CS only?
Yeah, Ame not exactly doing great. They've got the Arctic Burn onto the Skywrath Mage. Miposhka running away.
Slow.
Faith Beyond, he does have that Thunderclap available with these right clicks going in. Miposhka is low, but now the turnaround's on a ZAKU. They've got Yatoro ready to go, but they just don't have the damage. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Mira goes down to Y. So finally on the board here for LGD, and they're still looking over at Miposhka. It's ZAKU who gets the kill with a Splinter Blast. And across the map, they even the score. It's still a 1K lead for Team Spirit, but LGD starting to crawl back in this laning phase.
Now it sounds like they did like a favorable trade on the bot lane, but they actually killed the bear, which obviously is worth 300 gold, a ton of experience. So even though the Marcy died, the bear is actually worth more gold.
Right.
Yes, to be so another like no bear for 1 minute.
It's going to be pretty interesting to see how it goes with the bear going down so frequently.
Yeah, look at the top lane. They're running out of region. The spam ability of Skywrath and Luna is just a little bit too high. And even Skywrath, like, he's not really known for his right-click damage, but level 2 Luna Blessing, he's hitting for like about 72 damage per hit. It's no joke.
Yeah, no joke right now. A lot of consumable gold being spent.
Why in trouble?
Why? Between a rock and a hard place. He's trying to get away with this Enchantress, but there's the rebound. And with that, the dunk follows up. They've got the kill on a Y. They're trying to get a kill here onto the Luna. Down low with the Arctic Burn, but ZAKU, he'll eat the Arcane Bolt and survive. Now crawling from the sky. Trying to make his way out, and so is Faith Beyond. Splinter Blast again. Yatoro needs to be careful about his positioning.
Yeah, they're playing on the edge. And usually when you're playing on the edge, the long-range nukers are the ones who will come out ahead, which in this case are Team Spirit. So you have to be super, super careful.
Miposhka's ready with Mangoes. He's got the mana regen. Oh, Faith Beyond!
He's dead.
Oh, dear. Miposhka's got him, and ZAKU might just be next on the list. He's trying to get a kill here onto the Luna. The right-click damage isn't going to be enough, and it's a double kill from Miposhka, and he is just charging. So is the rest of Team Spirit. It's 5-2, and they feel pretty great right now. 2K lead. Look at this. Damage dealt for the Skywrath is quite high, and of course,
5K.
well, now he's going to be back full health, full mana once he respawns.
He dealt 1,000 damage per minute, actually. That is kind of insane, if you think about it.
See.
Toronto Tokyo no
Yeah,
trouble.
the Cinder Brew as well as the Thunderclap. Faith Beyond able to get at least one back, and Toronto Tokyo goes down over mid. Is nothing to say is there with the help of ZAKU to finish off this Ember. So it's a battle of back and forth so far. Well, why he's back into the grave and collapse. He's got himself another kill. He's on a killing spree.
Let's be careful with the bear. He's going to lose the bear again.
It looks like it's just going to fall. It's slowed down enough. They've got Mira up with it. They'll dispose of the bear and its life. 300 gold going to this Marcy.
And another 1 minute without the bear. I feel like I've been saying this like every minute.
It's been 5 minutes, and it feels like 5 minutes without the bear. 600 gold has been picked up. One kill there for Collapse and one kill there for Mira. So, I mean, that's a big injection of gold early on in the game that can make this lane way easier for the side of Team Spirit.
It's very interesting to see Ama's skill, but usually we just skill one level in a Savage Roar, so you can help each other. Like the bear can help you and you can help the bear. But chose to go for the greedy skill build, and so far it's not paying off Yatoro again.
Yeah, he'll throw out the Lucent Beam. They've got the silence from that Ancient Seal on the Skywrath Mage, but burning with the Cinder Brew, they've got the Thunderclap, and they will take him out with the help of Nothing to Say. They can put the pressure onto the Tier 1 tower, and what they want to do is take it potentially and close down this map, especially with the fact that Ame is struggling.
There's no TP on Toronto Tokyo right now. Oh, he just takes him out solo.
Yeah.
It's a lot of burst damage, of course.
now on the run without mana, but again, he does have the mangoes to work with. You've got Ame, who's making a charge in mid, so he's giving up on bottom.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot he can do. I mean, he's not super far behind when you compare him to the Luna, so that's still okay.
Oh, there it is. Another kill there for LGD. They're keeping it even. They go up by 2, they give up 2. They go up by 1, they give up 1.
Yeah.
The kills are coming back and forth, and it's 14 kills in 7 minutes.
It's a lot of kills.
Something Chinese Dota only farms, but apparently both these teams, when they collide, they kill.
I also love how both of these teams evolved. Toronto took the pink top, and so is the Skyraf, but I think they're sniffing it out.
They've got
maybe
the
not.
there,
Careful.
So they saw nothing to say, and then they see him, of course, come across with a swashbuckle. Toronto Tokyo hasn't shown himself. Faith Beyond does have the primal split if he wants to make a go at this. They go to the shield crash. They've got the ancient seal. YN behind him, trying to help out. A remnant away and nothing to say will survive, leaving them without words to fill in the gaps here for Team Spirit.
Again, he has the true form though. Yeah, there's no way he can initiate on that.
Collapse with that kill on his InQ. Nothing to say, getting low. Swashbuckles, rolling thunder. He'll try to get on him, but the slight is in. Toronto Tokyo clears out the Pangolier.
And why is next?
Why hiding behind the trees, but that's not going to work. He's got the silence, but the seal is in, and they'll put an expiration date on the life of this Enchantress. Still, though, the rebound and speeding up Maposhka, but not speeding him up enough.
Mira might be dead too, for instance.
Can't go in and get that kill on a 1, but he's looking for a second. One shot away, double kill for Faith Beyond. They've got Yatoro nearby. He doesn't have an Eclipse, but he does have a Lucid Beam to help. Here comes the bear. Ame hitting on a Toronto Tokyo. They're going to heal the creep, so the tower will be tanked by that creep. They wanted to dive the tower, and the way they were going to do so without taking aggro was healing that creep, and, well, they don't get Toronto Tokyo, but the idea was still there, right?
Yeah, now I might have a chance to really address what I wanted to talk about before. Both of these teams at the beginning of this tournament were pretty passive, very farm-oriented. Now, both of them are super aggressive. They realized how important lanes are, and they're playing it almost perfectly.
Arctic Burn on Toronto Tokyo.
No remnant on him.
He doesn't have a remnant now. He's been disposed both by the Marcy and by LGD. Maposhka shows up with Collapse, but these heroes may have rotated a little bit too late.
There's 5 mid.
They've also popped the Unleash, and that's not really going to do anything for Mira.
Yeah, for the basically the spell, of course, to get rid of the slows of himself. But yeah, the game is starting to sort of crumble for Spirit. They took a 3k lead, now back to 1k.
Thinking about rolling thunder. Mira hit up into the air. This should be an easy kill for the bear. Ame's got 1, Maposhka's next on the list, and they're checking it twice. Nothing to say. He'll clean up the second, and it's 12-10 now in the favor of LGD, and they've got themselves a little bit of a net worth lead.
For the first time in this game as well. From beginning to now, they were behind. But yeah, they also have the advantage of having 2 towers destroyed already, so their map is a lot more accessible. Which is sort of what we spoke about as well, right? Like, if Viper can't snowball, like, what is he really going to do in the mid-game? They have to keep this up. He's 4-0 right now, which is nice, but he will have to start making more space for the Luna because he's really far behind on the Luna.
Right, and it looked like Collapse was going to accomplish that, right? 2 kills on the bear, he got 1 of them. They got a couple of kills over bottom. They killed Ame a couple times. Like, Collapse certainly felt like he was going to have this snowball game. Now, not to say he's not having a good game, because he's obviously at the top of the net worth.
Yeah.
But does he have to do more, or is it just the rest of the team that, as you can tell by the net worth chart, is maybe failing him a little bit?
The problem is with Viper, you can't really take the dangerous lanes at all.
Yatoro,
oh my god, they're finding Yatoro again.
If they get this kill into the Luna, it's going to feel drastic. They'll go in, the Ancient's trying to steal it, but, well, they can't do so. They've got Faith Beyond going in for more and dominating for this Brewmaster. Top lane, they have the ult coming in from Maposhka with the Searing Chains of Toronto Tokyo. They'll take out Ame, so the carries get traded.
This game is really funny in terms of whenever somebody dies with that ult, the other dies too.
He's trying to roll, but there's the dispose with the Unleash. They've got the ulti coming out from Collapse. Nothing to say, needs to be careful as a Toronto Tokyo Ember's coming in. Collapse getting low. Does he have the help from Toronto Tokyo? No, he's focusing his attention on the ZinQ at the moment. And now Collapse trying to walk away, but they've got the damage coming out from this swashbuckle. They've got themselves 1. They've got themselves 2. Toronto Tokyo doesn't have the damage to get this Winter Wyvern just yet. He'll slight once again, but it's still not it.
Yeah, and Shield keeping him alive as well.
He wants it. He wants to go for somebody. He's staying close. Toronto, Tokyo, how long are you willing to stay?
He has a safety remnant out, so he should be fine at a moment's notice. He's taking a lot of damage. They're going to be a bit careful.
There he uses it.
There's also a funny thing. He didn't skill impetus, but if he had and he throws it before he activates remnant, it's like 400 pure damage in his face. It's pretty ridiculous.
Do you think he was going to go level in impetus early, or are you okay with the 0-3-3-1?
I think this is a lot better considering the laning phase went very poorly for Armin. So there's like a better adjustment. Okay. Or just to put on the pressure on the map and be able to help your teammates.
Do you think the initial idea was to go to impetus?
Probably. You wanted to win the lane for sure, yeah.
There's that diffusal blade we talked about for Pangolier. He's going into the Yule Scepter next. And now that is a very quick diffusal blade coming out in 205 matches. That is way faster than the average.
Yeah. And he's going for the Yule Scepter next because he's building onto an Orchid on the Viper. It also helps against Skyruff, and Ember Spirit, of course, is a perfect Yule's game. How about Fabian? Needs about 2 more components for his axe. Yeah, it's going to be pretty fast as well. And Armor is suddenly not so underfarmed anymore, but Yatoro really is.
Yeah, he is fallen quite behind. He's behind Faith Beyond, and actually, the one catching him at the moment is Y. 1,500 gold for a support is a lot, but when you're a carry, it still feels like that difference is pretty close.
Yeah, for sure. He has to be very careful. And again, they don't have the best space-making heroes. Ember, yes, but Viper is kind of a space taker himself. So they'll have to find a good way to like split that farm. Otherwise, Viper might become useless. But if he takes too much farm, then Luna's going to become useless. So it's a hard balancing game.
Speaking of farm, Yatoro, he's taking the stacks in the triangle. They'll go for the Rolling Thunder, and nothing to say coming over. Collapse, he's on the run. He's got some help from Aposhka. I don't know if that's going to be enough, but they also have 2 other heroes here to try and help him out. They'll look over at this Viper who will throw out the ult, but they've got so much damage to get the kill on the Collapse. They've got a mega kill streak here for Faith Beyond. Yatoro and Mira, they think maybe we can't help out this Viper, and it's time to run. They'll go towards the tier 1 tower, and with Rolling Thunder, obviously, now no longer there, as well as the Primal Split, LGD aren't going to give chase.
Yeah. Also spinning up the Ancient Creep for good measure. Always a fun time to spin for like half a minute.
That looks fun.
It would actually be really annoying though. If Luna was trying to farm the camp right now, you wouldn't be able to access it, of course. So, getting a little efficiency plays in. There is a safety remnant out if it gets cursed though. Okay, nice.
I was wondering if they were camping the remnant, but it was by the tier 2 tower.
Yeah.
We've seen that in the past. Ghost was a victim of that.
He actually went back for Midas on the laundry, I just noticed. Very uncommon item on him nowadays, but if you're behind this far, makes perfect sense. Now he's top of the net worth.
Yeah, he picked it up first, and it was kind of not like the best timing, but it wasn't that bad overall.
Yeah.
And it's helped him come back. He's going for the Desolator. I mean, when we were talking about our game plan for the show match, you were saying, I'm just going to go 100 and end the game in 19 minutes. So, you know, it's 15 minutes now, but do you think in the next 4 minutes, Deso, he can run it down?
Nah, it's not that easy, of course, in an actual game, you know.
ZQ.
Nice curse, though.
It's on the
if he gets rooted, he's in trouble.
Tokyo, he's got to be careful.
Where's the roots?
And now they're looking for the root, but they're never going to get it. They've got the break on Apochka thanks to the neutral creeps, but they aren't going to chase for anything more. It was just Ame and ZQ for the moment. Nothing to say has shown up, and maybe if they go further in the lane, he'll go, but they do have a nice obs that should keep him safe.
No curse to set up this time, though. I can't believe there wasn't a root. Hit him like 10 times. Stupid Angie. Thank you. Fly away, my friend.
Rolling Thunder, they don't have a blink.
They
do have the defusal. If they want to use it to slow him down, that's going to be used on Apochka. Trying to get the kill onto the Skywrath Mage, and it's a great sidestep. Toronto Tokyo focusing his attention on his ZQ to try and get a kill onto the Winter Wyvern, but there's the disarm, Searing Chains, Shield Crash. Toronto Tokyo, Sleight of Fist once again. He'll remedy away, and with 17 health, they'll survive on the bottom lane. They're going to go for the Brewmaster. They've got the silence, but they don't have the damage. Oh, again, Mystic Flare, but nothing to say gets the killing of Apochka. He's on a killing spree. It's fights across the map that only end up in 1 kill.
They're looking for Faith Beyond again, too. They have the Orchid.
Jump on him.
Nice.
Primal Split. Mira is in trouble onto the tier 2 tower. Collapse. He's just gonna let this Marcy
Rebound
for
in 5.
themselves. They've got the rebound in 5, 4, 3. I don't know if that's gonna be in time, trying to make the time, but there's the stun, there's the root, there's the kill, and it's Faith Beyond who is unstoppable.
Yeah,
and they've
definitely
got the
grand
Deso
final
now.
worthy performance there from him.
Yeah.
Like, he knew exactly they were trying to kill him again. As soon as he sees the rebound initiation, bam. Cast that ult before this post could ever come off. And they're just outplaying them right now around the map. You know, early game was very Spirit favored, but LGD really turned it around.
So you can take a look at the heat map here. More towards top, from mid to top. He's really not shown up bottom since he's left.
Yeah. And it's the same for Yatoro, right?
Well, it was more lit up across. But
yeah, more lit up across, but now
he's
it's just occupying the bottom.
Yeah.
Which is what you always want to do as the carry eventually. Which is kind of weird because Viper's also there. That's kind of what I spoke about, the overlapping. Because Viper is not a hero that can take the dangerous lanes. He will just die. It's like a fake offlaner in that sense.
3 heroes moving up. Why the leader?
Oh, I mean, Poshka, he might just die again.
Heal, so he should be fine even if he were to get caught. Poshka, though, he's not going to be. And ZQ will have credit
Roshan.
for another.
Roshan as lone root is super easy. You just tank with the main hero, the bear heals you up permanently.
Placed a good ward right before he died.
He did. He's up in 20 and they might be looking for a fight, but Luna is so weak. Like, Luna cannot fight right now. There's no chance. There's a DDO as well, of course, as it is tradition.
Praise Gaven.
You do Roshan, you get DD. Everybody knows it. Hands up. Praise the Lord.
Why in a good spot to break smoke if it were to go that way? But with this word and they see him, they know like they just don't have a chance to get into the pit.
Yeah.
And then they knew that vision was there and they cleared it up.
There's so many items coming out. We have the dual scepter done on Pango, the axe on Brewmaster completed, Desolator on the Lone Druid. Like, they are just starting to snowball really hard. And that's what we spoke about. If they're not ready to defend this soon, they'll just get overrun. One good teamfight is all it takes with a Lone Druid and you lose your base.
Bear's also got Brigand's Blade.
Yeah, his damage output is ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
Its damage output is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I guess
Setsu's.
he is Setsu. Yeah. It is Setsu. Now he should be going into the shard. Oh, he already has the shard on the Lone Druid.
Oh,
completely busted, by the way.
Yeah.
Entire team gets 20% movement speed.
Bonus attack.
50 attack
60.
speed.
Jeez.
Yeah. See little net worth as well. It's all the way up until minute 10. Spirit was leading. Now it's all LGD ever since then. So look at the tower damage with the Desolator. 120 per hit.
He got one shot and then the glyph.
Demolish is a great ability.
Can they really even rotate for this? Okay.
They can.
The tower, yeah, it's gone. It's already gone.
That's a Lone Druid special. Like, if you leave a building undefended, it's just gone. And that's what I mean. Now Glyph is on cooldown, you lose one teamfight, your Rex is gone.
Yeah. You know, we say heroes are dead on their screen already. That tower was crumbled the second it got touched.
It was.
Demolished so fast.
They have double Bruce Split as well, don't forget that. Like, the teamfight presence right now is massive. They're finding Miposhka here again.
And with an Aegis in their hands, they really should feel like it's their timing, right? But what do Spirit do? We've been focusing a lot on what LGD's been doing right, what they've been doing now as they chase Miposhka, but they won't find him. But if you're Spirit, you've got Yatoro in a spot where he is close to top of the net worth. He's recovered well. Actually, the whole team, considering where they were in terms of Faith Beyond, they've all recovered well.
Yeah.
But can they defend against this?
That is a big question. If they can defend like 2 or 3 times, Lone Druid eventually will run out of steam. And Luna will like be taking over the strongest on the map position. But that's going to be quite a while. Because Lone Druid is going to get into his Basher eventually. Then his damage output against even BKB targets is going to be insane. And it's not like the old Lone Druid, right? Now you scale with levels. Like, your damage and health scales with levels. So you do scale much better into the late game.
So, 4-man smoke with Yatoro showing himself over mid. He's clearing up the creep wave. The rest of the team behind him ready to go. We'll see if they can find anything at the moment.
Mind you, there's no bear right now, but
it's going to be tough because nothing to save over to the side, but they've got themselves to dispose as well as the Mystic Flare. They go into the Winter's Curse, but it's not enough to save, nothing to say. As this Enchantress is trying to run with the pig pole, but Y goes down. Mira, he did his job. He got the kill. They've got the Searing Chains. It's out onto the bear, which is going to fall. So there's gold there for Yatoro and a good victory for Spirit that keeps this game close, and it allows them to kind of get a breath of fresh air where they're not in trouble of getting pushed down by this lone druid for a little bit.
So it was just the dispose duration that killed him, right? Because they don't really have any other great stun.
Yeah, so you have that, and the Mystic Flare was dropped.
Yeah.
And they got the kill, nothing to say. Who's trying to hide in the trees and find his opening? He's gone Yules, he's going Blink next. Do you like that? Like Yules first, not Blink? Because Blink, obviously, it gives you a little bit better initiation. You can Rolling Thunder from further away.
Yeah.
A situation like that, maybe he gets away with. If Y's frontlining, Rolling Thunder, Blink in.
Yeah, no, I like it just because Yules is so valuable in this game. There's so many things to dispel. Makes a lot of sense, but you have to be very careful, obviously, when you run at the high ground. You probably don't want your Pango to go first.
Faith Beyond spots Mira, but Mira's got a Blink.
Ooh, there's also a gem on the Scarab already, so they just want to retake their control of their side of the map.
Yeah, they took
farm
it from
up.
Y.
As we spoke about, Luna will become the strongest hero on the map eventually.
Yeah.
If they can hold on.
Has that BKB, has Mask of Madness.
Going into the
BKB
shard
was
build next.
not used, so still 9 seconds, and going into the Chrysalis, then the Shard.
Yeah. That's really the new evolved playstyle of Luna, right? You build all these items just to make your shard Lucid Beam stronger. Get into the crit, get into the Skadi. And just keep spamming beam on a super low cooldown. 3 seconds cooldown, in fact.
The Skywrath picking up that Aether Lens, so he's going to be able to do more from afar.
Yeah. We have yet to really see the Lone Druid participate in any fight. Like, we haven't seen the bear get on top of a hero yet and start shredding them.
Yeah, it just died in the last fight.
They've done a very good job on TeamSpirit to really sort of not allow them for that to happen.
Looks like this Aegis is turning into a farming Aegis. It's going to expire in 4 seconds anyway.
Sinkyu's looking to get a good curse up potentially.
Potentially has that opportunity. The Rolling Thunder coming in, and they're going to rebound, try and jump, try and find an escape.
The two supports are in trouble.
Arctic Burn and Toronto Tokyo, he's staying. Mira's here too. Searing Chains onto the bear. They'll look over Mira. Ooh, nothing to say. He's the one who's in trouble, taking a lot of damage. The Lucid Beam, there's the kill. And they're going to go in for more. They've got the BKBB pop by Toronto Tokyo. They'll jump away with Mira. Up into the air, Cyclone to Yatoro. The bear hitting away, but he's got the remnants to try and leave.
Oh, nice curse.
Winter's curse is in onto the Viper. It's locked down. 3 of these heroes, Toronto Tokyo as well as Mira, trying to run. They've got themselves to dispose onto the bear as well as the Mystic Flare. It's out on Ame. They get the kill to collapse. The Eclipse is dropped down. Destroys aren't hurting enough. They've got the kill onto Yatoro. Faith Beyond with a double kill, and now they look over Toronto Tokyo. He's slowed up, stunned off, killed off, triple kill. Faith Beyond is godlike, and LGD come out the victors on that one. It was real close. It looked like Spirit had the opportunity, but ZAKU in with a beautiful Winter's Curse, and it's followed up by the rest of LGD.
Yeah, super well played by ZAKU. Faith Beyond also impeccable micro. But this is also the reason why Lone Druid is so strong. They focused everything on the Lone Druid. He's sitting there at 3.5k health, 50% magic resistance. You cannot kill this guy.
No.
Every time the bear swipes at someone, he heals by 150.
Oof. Well, it looked like Spirit was climbing back into the game, and now they're down 6k. We're going to take another look at this fight. They already got nothing to say at this point, but he's not the big bad boss of this LGD lineup. You've got Toronto Tokyo kind of off by himself. Like, what goes wrong here?
Look at that 3-man curse. Oh, and obviously the curse is massive. After the curse, look, they throw everything they have onto the Lone Druid. He doesn't even care. He drops to half health, gets cold and praise.
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Eclipse?
And after that, like, what do? You blew the entire load on a hero you didn't even bring down to half. You have nothing left in the tank. Easy clean. Sure, Faith Beyond gets all the credit for the kills, you know, but Ame and ZAKU did a lot that fight too. Don't let the stats deceive you guys.
It's an ensemble cast. It's not just a single-player game.
Yeah, you might be 9-1-8, Faith Beyond, but your teammates are good too. Okay? Don't worry.
Got 10 assists there for ZAKU. He's only died 3 times this game on the Winter Wyvern.
Yeah.
He's got the Glimmer Cape, Force Staff, and Arcane Boots. He's real farmed at the moment. He's again, like it's a big difference. It's 3,000 between the Ember and the Winter Wyvern, but that is too close for comfort.
It is way too comfort. Right? He is 1k gold behind the offlaner. Like that's the problem when you go first item BKB on Ember Spirit, right? You don't have a scaling item. Usually it would be like Maelstrom into BKB, which is really your farm accelerator, but they felt so pressured after that initial good early game that he resorted back to fast BKB, but the team fights aren't really going their way. Lone Druid already has a bash that we spoke about, so his BKB isn't even that strong anymore. And you saw what happened to Luna. She got shredded.
Right.
By that bear.
Yeah.
On the BKB.
Even with all the items that you've got here for Yatoro, he's now got that shard. He's going Scotty. He's trying to farm up. He's 3k behind Ame, and Ame is going into the AC. So he's trying to make something happen to survive even longer. by buying that AC, he's already real survivable. It's disgusting how long he survived in that fight. It felt like everything was just tickling him. By the way, fast Roche. 5 seconds. It'll be up, and that's going to be Aegis and Shard. LGD, they're set up to try and control this. The question is, are Spirit willing and confident enough to contest? Again, it's very hard to contest this, and you've almost got Brewmaster with both charges ready on the Primal Split.
This is LGD's for the taking. There's not much you can do about it. You can't really fight into the curse or the Brewmaster splits right now.
They're going to try. Toronto Tokyo comes in with a spike of Searing Chains. Mystic Flare is down. They've got the Enchantress, but they're not going to get the Aegis. Roche is for the side of LGD. Toronto Tokyo tries to go in. They've got the Aegis on Ame. BKB. Oh, the bashes! And now he's trying to run with the Remnant. The Sleight of Fist again. Winter's Curse. They've got the control. Do they have the kill with the Rolling Thunder? They certainly do. Ame taking out the Ember, who is continuing to struggle. And LGD, they claim their prize and a +1 on the Ember. And like you said, when you lose fights like this, it's not a big blowout, but you do have a lone druid to push these buildings down if they choose to do so.
Wait, they see them in the triangle.
That's Aroma, Poshka, Mira are here. Ame? He's by himself, blink away. They still need to run. They've got the rebound.
They know there's a ward up there, though. There's going to be sentry immediately, except they don't have sentries. Man. Support players nowadays. I want to invest in 50 gold in the sentry wards.
I buy too many sentries. I was playing Zeus yesterday and still buying them. They'll go after ZinQ. They've got themselves also a boatload of damage, but that's just the Winter Wyvern. They just dropped the Eclipse for that.
They found
and the Mystic Flare. Yatoro trying to get out of this with the BKB, but no bash is coming through.
Chance.
They found Mira, who will blink away, go for the TP. Nothing to say, he's there, but they won't be able to stop the TP from going off.
Yeah. You might have heard my distress that they didn't get a bash, because I know exactly if I was TPing there, I would have gotten bashed.
Right.
Every time.
By the way, Brewmaster picking up that Shard, Faith Beyond. Now we'll have that 4th Spirit.
It is amazing. The Shard is actually really underrated. Disarm, slow, just an additional panel that deals damage as well. He has an Aeon Disc also ready to be completed, so they can't burst him down at all.
Collapse is looking. They've got the Ancient Seal. They have a double silence thanks to the Orchid on the Viper as well. The TPs are in from LGD, and Spirits certainly feel the pressure, the aura, the miasma coming from LGD as they continue to put it on and be across the river going after these heroes. And they have found Mira, but the blink away. Quick fingers for the Marcy. Aposhka nearby too. Rebound, some movement speed on the run. Fade Grenade is in, and they're going to go to the Primal Split. There's a Remnant in the trees. Maybe if they go too deep, there's 4 Spirits to deal with now, so that's not great. Maposhka certainly dead already, and it'll be Gem on the ground for them to pick up. Oh,
Mira picked it up.
Oh, Mira got it.
But he's slowed up as well.
Now he's in trouble. Collapse trying to fight, trying to take the bear, but that back to form is Faith Beyond. Winter's Curse, now he locks up Collapse. They still send out these couriers, and mid-tower looking like it's going to drop, and it falls. These 2 heroes that are left on Spirit of the Luna as well as the Ember are trying to farm and have some semblance of a defense, but they have nothing so far, and they have lost their melee racks over mid.
Remember when we complained about tiny building damage? Well, that is even more ridiculous.
It's kind of gross.
He has the AC, he has the Desolator. Those buildings are melting. You lose 1 team point, the game is over at this point, actually.
Silence again, Lucent Beam onto the bear. All seen on your screen. And they're going to go. They're going to try and take this tower. There needs to be a response. You need to expect a response. The response is to get the bear. That's 300 gold for the Luna. They go into the Primal Split. They've got the Swashbuckle. There's the disarm and the stun. It's out on the Luna. Disarmed again thanks to the Void Bear that is out from Faith Beyond in the Primal Split. He's got the bear to go back to, so they're not too scared of really retreating on the side of LGD, and they've taken the tier 3 in the melee racks again, this time up top.
Yeah, they didn't even care. They didn't really want to fight there. They just kind of held them back while Lone Druid is doing his job, killing the Rex really fast. Now they're 2 sides down. What did they lose? Nothing. 1 bear cooldown. That's it.
Yeah, it's going to be on cooldown for 70 more seconds. Winter's Curse is back up in 5, and it does feel like with another minute on this Aegis, LGD have the availability to go again. I guess the question is if they will, but Spirit might just take the fight to them.
Now the good news is that the Spirit Bear doesn't have a lot of room to grow. That's the good news. The bad news is the game might end before it will have to stop growing. They have 4 men smoking in straight away.
All the way around. They're trying to
There's
make
still an Aegis though on the bear. Or on the lone druid, rather.
About 35 more seconds. So if they can get the timing right, maybe they take a fight on this side of the river and push some of these buildings down.
They know it's really obvious though, the smoke, right? Like LGD are really good at this game. They see top lanes pushed in. There's no way that they're not smoked. And there's no objective. No Roshan or nothing, so they can just wait.
Yeah, Roche not up for another 3
Thank you. He has an Aeon Disc as well, keep in mind. They're
TPing out.
2 Aeon Discs and a Lincoln Sphere on their team.
Toronto, Tokyo. Remnant. And there it is. Cool.
Oh, gets his mana burnt though. No, that's back to base for you, buddy.
So, Yatoro, he's going for the Scotty. He's got enough for the point booster. He's trying to get this item finished probably before their potential last stand. Is that good enough? Like, what can Spirit do? What are they relying on? Are there any items that can pull them out of this trench?
They're lacking damage right now. And they're also lacking buildings. So you have to take the fight before they actually threaten high ground. Otherwise, they do the same thing. They focus buildings, just keep you back with a bruise split. We have seen this so many times in China DPC where teams just abuse this, right? They split, not to fight, but to keep you back. You tornado one guy up, suddenly it's 4v5, you can't really initiate, while the carry is actually just destroying your buildings.
We've talked about the CDC game plan of using the Brewmaster to take your towers as well.
Yeah.
It's been
luckily they don't have too
disgusting.
many left, so it's easy to defend now, just one side.
CDC, a Div 2 China team that got promoted after this season. They had a game where Brewmaster basically ratted out the entire team.
For like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Quite a sight to watch, and well, the sight right now is set on finishing this game for LGD. They're gonna try and make a go up 16K. They're waiting just in case anybody goes out a little bit too far, strays too far from home. They'll jump in and then, well, immediately take them out, and there they go.
4 splits. That's the first one.
They've got the play going
Tower
forward
down.
to try and take the tower. It's already gone. Over to the side, it's collapsed. He's got to make something happen. He's throwing right clicks in onto Ame, but it's not doing any damage. And
Left getting shredded.
Well, it's a Rolling Thunder. They get the gun of beer. They look for the whips, but the damage, it's just not there. Toronto, Tokyo with the BKB. They've got themselves the cold embrace. It's out into Y. He's healing up. It's certainly going to be the entire base that is gone. And what can you do if you're the side of Team Spirit? 34 minutes into the game, you're up against Mega Creeps, and you are fighting on your heels. For Yatoro, well, the Cat's fighting on all 4 heels. They're trying to make it happen, but they just can't.
Split on
There's the refresher, there's the split. And the Cyclone onto Yatoro.
They can't even defend.
LGD, they're making them watch as they take their base. Spirit, they need to fight, but they can't. They're not allowed to. The Ancient is exposed. The throne is going to go down. LGD looking like they're going to get themselves game 1. Mira drops again for 75
they're all alive to
seconds.
just lose it.
They just cannot defend. LGD will take game number 1 here over Team Spirit in this grand final BO3. That was something from LGD. A push, maybe not for the ages, because really Spirit, all they could do was spectate that one.
Yeah, it was. Honestly, after the early game, I was very worried for Ame especially. Lost 2 bears, got first blooded. The bear just kept dying over and over and over again, but the skirmishing of LGD was almost perfect. Like minute 10, they're just 5 heroes in the mid lane.
Yeah.
They take fight after fight after fight to bring it back into the, like a really good mid game. And yeah, we spoke about Lone Druid. You let this guy snowball, your base is gone.
Yeah, and they never really had an ability to stop them once they showed up as 5.
Matinding
It was
bawi
so
yun,
dominant from the side of LGD, 28-18.
Bawing
They
bawi.
win in 35 minutes. And,
35
I mean,
minutes
this is where
lang.
it looks good for Spirit. They were
TI
winning
champion.
the lane. They were doing well.
Game
shutting
number
down
2,
Ame,
BO3
beating
lang
on
to
a
mga
bunch
pre.
of kills where he kind of recovered. That was a great
Best
move
of
for
3 lang
Nothing to
to.
say to make sure that they slowed down.
Hindi
and
to
made
best of
Opposite
5,
carry,
BO3
right?
lang.
And they did. They did a great
Balik
job
tayo
of
mamaya
shutting
for game
down
number
Luna,
2.
and Yatoro's game got very difficult, especially once
Thank you,
LGD got together as 5. So we're going to throw it over to the analyst desk. They can break it down more for you guys. Take it away.
As we witness these highlights brought to you by Aramco, we reminisce about the game we just witnessed and where...
Hello, Mod, Azmi, tama ba? Am I correct? This is the grand final, yes sir. This is a grand final between LGD and Team Spirit. Best of 3 only. ORG is eliminated and as well as Team Secret. Oy, oy, Boss Arnel, tulog na. Morning, good morning. Ayan, balik tayo. Game number... Game number 2. Baka last game na, kung sakali. Okay, bro. Thanks for the info. No worries. Ayan, balik tayo for game number 2. Dito lang kayo. Di na natin end stream.
we're that close from not having Razor nor Marcy in the first phase bans, and that's gonna make me happy. I feel it's gonna.
When's the Marcy coming? Is it coming now?
No. Without the Razor, they don't value it.
Okay, Tiny's good.
Tiny, okay.
Tiny's good.
So I mean, one of the big changes was the Wyvern making it through the first banning phase. So yeah, definitely one of the heroes that has maybe the biggest kind of, you know,
Bilis lang,
improvement in
salang
terms
agad.
of, you know, in priority.
Yan natin
All the
kung,
teams are not looking at it as being one of the best, maybe the
magcha-champion na
best
dito
hero of the
LGD
tournament
laban
besides,
sa
I don't know, maybe the Tiny is up there, and the Zeus.
And of course, you've got the Mira's been playing a fantastic Tiny today, but even with these two bans, you know, these were the two heroes that I specifically said Team Spirit should pick these heroes because it's going to make it a lot easier to take out these beefy heroes that are very hard to kill. So the fact that they're gone means that this Tiny also has the potential to open into that mid lane role, but they're just going back to the exact same thing, and of course, Faith Beyond, he gets to pick up his Nature's Prophet as well.
And I mean, let's be honest, guys. Like this Spirit lineup, it was the first two picks, right? It was a great start for them last game, right? Like we should say that. I think, of course, eventually LGD, of course, were able to identify the weaknesses with this Viper. I think Black at some stage, he was saying like, you just can't put this hero in the dead lane. You know, he just dies, right? There are weaknesses in the hero, so Spirit might still be able to draft around these weaknesses and still get a great game, but of course that MP is going to be a problem.
It's a good point, and they can maybe also kind of adapt and flex the Viper, you know, as you mentioned, you know, not lock it as early in the draft as you were saying, to kind of keep Collapse Hero full open. I would like to see a Dazzle ban. I think it's going to be quite important here. I think it's quite good against his heroes, super synergizes really well with the lineup that LGD has. They've done it several times now. I mean, let's see, you know, I think this Prophet is kind of scary. It's one of the better heroes against Viper for several amount of reasons. Bullies him in the lane, kills him easily in the game, you know, physical damage. Yeah, Faith Beyond have had incredible games on this Prophet so far.
Can you even flex the Viper anymore? I feel like as a position 5 into a Nature's Prophet, it's not the easiest time.
It's really tough.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to sack one position, rather be the 5 and give Collapse some more playmaking potential.
You could just knock the Viper in the first place.
I agree, but this is the timeline that we're in Spirit. They can't be thinking like that anymore, right?
Or they can.
Move forward, right?
For a game 3, they can.
Okay,
sure.
For a game 3, they might be able to.
And maybe they go back to it again because they'll have to win this game to be able to get to that point. Maybe they get the secret sauce that's needed to be able to get away with the win. But finally, the lone druid gets banned away. Arme won't be playing it for against Team Spirit.
Silent just couldn't bear to see that.
Oh, absolutely not.
Tsaka rivalry na to
bears that could potentially be in that game. We had the lone druid, we had the brewmaster, and everything else in between. But well, LGD, they still can look to open with something that's able to kind of round and be able to pick up a few stuns, you know, get right on top of this lineup. Mobility feels like it's at the premium for LGD right now, just to be able to get away from this Marcy lineup, as well as punish if the Viper
Marcy lineup na naman siya, no?
I think Spirit, they really need to think of a way to fight into LGD. I think they have put themselves game 1 in a position where it was literally impossible to do so. They're not there yet. It's not looking great because Viper and Marcy are two heroes that are really underwhelming at team fights. And I think when you play against LGD, you have to respect the fact that eventually down the road, it's going to get to that point in the game. And you need a way to match the team fight. They're going to bring the objective taking potentials and whatnot. So I'm really looking at a heavy team fight second phase from Spirit.
I wouldn't mind seeing some sort of mid laner, for example, like a Kunkka, who just like hits a powerful 6 and he brings like just a fantastic spell for the game. Something that Toronto Tokyo can just get a good start on. I don't think he was particularly comfortable too much in the last game, especially with how well Sinkyu was playing.
And even if it is the offlane Viper as well, having the Kunkka there with the run buff is going to be able to provide him with a lot of the extra potential to just stand there and fight, right? So it's enabling not only the game for your team, but even just individually for someone like Collapse.
Also good psychic synergy, right? If you combine that with a Tidebringer as well. Marcy actually has more liberty to get in, as you said, with the Ghost Ship. Maybe we see Marcy being a bit greedier. I would always love that, right? Plus 4 Marcy can get one good core item.
Yeah, and I like the point you bring up on that, Seb. I think like we saw Moon Meander playing a much greedier Marcy these games with the Midas, right? And that game ended up getting really interesting because of the amount of impact he was able to get, the faster Blink Dagger, and then unfortunately TSM, you know, we're losing that game for other unrelated reasons, but it really only takes that one hero and a couple of, you know, pros to start spamming it in pubs for it to become the build.
I mean, right now Spirit, they're doing the kind of what I call the very conservative drafting, which is the right way to do on second pick. You know, kind of pick heroes that are going to be stable, good for the game. You know, Jakiro position 5 against Prophet position 3, good against the shield, and make sure that you can now get to the nicer part of the draft for second pick. You know, the last 2 picks where you get to see a lot and counter pick.
They go for the Pango again on LGD. We'll see what Team Spirit's answer is this time. Last time was the Ember Spirit. The 3 picks that were popular against Pango made were Quap, Storm Spirit, and Ember, of course. But there are some other options that are much more viable in today's meta.
Bloodseeker is still in this time around, so this is something they could be looking at. I mean, it's also going to depend a lot on what LGD picks next. They're going to get to see both.
Pwede rin Bloodseeker para
They
pag
could Bloodseeker
nag-roll out
themselves,
yung
right? They're not
Pango.
the worst lane against the Viper Marcy.
It can be decent. It can
Pwede
be
rin,
Dazzle.
pwede
Yeah.
rin.
Okay.
I think the Dazzle is very instrumental to this LGD lineup. It has a lot of synergy with the
Dazzle.
other heroes, so they're going to be really happy to get their hands on
Good
that.
pick yung
And
Dazzle.
now Spirit is going to have to decide how do they want to
Tiny.
address the team fight once again from LGD. Pangolier Dazzle, it's a lot of team fight.
And Dazzle is pretty strong against Bloodseekers, so that also stops that a little bit. Like if you
Good
can rupture
morning,
his Pango, just
everyone.
roll away, shallow grave, and you're fine.
Morning,
Yeah,
good morning
exactly.
guys. This is game
That
number
might be a
2.
little bit problematic. Now you really need something from Spirit to like get onto these back lines and
Yeah,
pressure
I think
the
nag-stay
Dazzle.
kayo.
I mean, I think you put a support
LGD.
of the quality that we have here on the
Tapos
tournament
na
in
kaya?
these grand finals in a
Tingnan
free Dazzle
natin.
game, and I just think you're never going to
Hello
win a team
guys, nice
fight.
to meet you
You
all.
need
I'm
to be
from
able to apply
Malaysia.
pressure. You
Welcome,
need to
welcome.
force mistakes, or the lane, sure, yeah, right. But it's
Yeah, may
looking a
isang
little bit
viewer out
concerning
here,
because
guys.
Jakiro, Viper, maybe a
Welcome,
Marcy,
sir.
but again, Marcy, I think generally does struggle once lanes end to really be impactful
Ember
with the
again.
calls that we see on her these days.
But this the Ember once again against the Pango. I mean, maybe it's slightly better than last game in the sense that it's one of the heroes that can get on top of the Dazzle also.
Ember again?
At the same time, I feel like Dazzle is really good against Ember. He gets to kind of negate the poke damage completely with the sustain.
Was that intentional? Slightly better with the Ember Spirit?
It was not, but I'm happy they did it.
Wow.
Very, very
Well
good. I'm wondering, like we saw things like the Naga Siren, if it's able to get through for LGD to just have such a dominant lane
Yes.
together with the Dazzle. You know,
Would be
they're
very
really good at locking down. They lack a little bit of that AoE damage coming
Come
through
on.
outside of the Ember Spirit. Maybe this is a game for him to go Maelstrom if that is the avenue
Sayang,
that
maganda
LGD
sana
choose to
dun
go
sa
for. Now
Spirit.
they look to
Ay,
get rid of the
nabanagad.
Bloodseeker, obviously realizing that
Fourth
percentage
ban.
damage with the Aghanim shot plus the ability to stop the
Oo,
rolling
naban.
thunder in its tracks is pretty effective.
Buti nga, pinandi nila yung
yeah,
ano eh.
liking this so far from LGD. Their draft is continuing to
Counter
impress
sa
me.
Pango.
I
Pag
agree with your
gumulong.
point, Naga. This seems like a pretty free Naga lane, honestly, with a Dazzle. And the game also, honestly. They have all protections. There's no last bit that could deal with her alone.
I think it's a pretty good alt game potentially.
As
Yeah,
well.
that's what I was thinking.
For LGD. The lane might be a little bit rough, but it is honestly not that bad. I think Alk is one of the heroes that actually have a lot of kill potential on the
Alke.
Viper.
Yeah.
He just goes on the Viper with the Dazzle, the Prophet can even TP in. It hurts his game a little bit, but it's going to help the Alk get to a faster 6. It's actually worth it. And worst case, plan B, Alk just goes jungle. Viper is not a hero that takes the tower quickly. I think it would be a great pick for LGD. It synergizes really well with their heroes. The Acid Spray, Pango loves it, Prophet loves it, Dazzle loves it.
I think it's a good pick here. Like that is a kill lane that Spirit have drafted. They show us against the Lone Druid, but this time, of course, they've got the Dazzle. Like Dazzle has to be the target
Lone
of this lane
Druid kasi
before you
yung
can
game
even consider
number
making a move really
Exactly.
onto the
Natoro-
LGD. He
toro
does have
sila.
lots of space and lots of
Ang
protection.
hirap talaga
That
patayin
is
ng Bear.
particularly brutal, especially because LGD have always brought this really strong mid-game timing. This tournament specifically versus Spirit that they just have not been able to withstand.
One of the better heroes at using Grave also. Great Grave the Alchemist with the regen. He gets back online, back in the fight.
Oh, especially now with the heal amp on the grave, right? Now
Yes.
it's actually kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. It's an amazing combo for sure.
I'm just thinking like what style of position 1 they actually want to go. Obviously we've mentioned a few of these heroes, the Naga and the Alchemist, as options, but I kind of feel like Faith Beyond is maybe wanting to play a little bit greedier with his style. Like, I want a position 1 that's able to start a lot of these team fights because the Nature's Prophet's going to want to be that +1. I don't think you could be that hero that like leads into a team fight, right? It really needs to be on the back of the Tiny once it gets that Blink Dagger plus the Pango.
Yeah, I see that, but I think that, Prophet Alk, they kind of complement each other because when Alk is weak, Prophet is strong. He's level 6. He's probably one of the strongest heroes on the map right now. Level 4 Treants, level 6. And then when Prophet wants a little bit of quiet time, hopefully he bought the time for Alk to get the Radiance, get the Blink, or get the BKB. It can come really early. If you dominate the early game, minute 15, you can have the Radiance BKB, or minute 20 maximum. And then Prophet gets a little bit more quiet time to kind of shove the lanes. I think they can complement each other pretty well. The Naga, the only problem is that Ember can
Pwede pa
become
rin Lone
good
Druid
against Naga,
Ay, di,
and
banda
they get
pala.
another pick against it. So it's a little bit riskier in my opinion. I think it works wonders with their lineup, but just maybe a tiny bit.
Terror
Yeah,
Blink.
the
For the
Alchemist.
Alk.
Yeah.
I think it's the perfect pick. I'm pretty sure that Spirit forgot about it completely.
I gotta be honest, guys. I'm a little bit terrified. LGD have beaten
Ganda ng
Team
pick ni
Spirit 3
LGD.
times now in this tournament underneath 35 minutes. The first games, it was 28 and 29-minute wins respectively. They are comfortable playing tempo versus Spirit.
Fast game to, mga sir.
Really unable to delay it too much here, even if they pick a scaling hero. I'm a little concerned, honestly.
I don't know. I'm trying to think, how do you fix this? To me, this is as bad as the Night Soccer last week before. I think it's really bad for Spirit. So I'm trying to think how can they fix it. I'm sure there must be something. I don't want a one-sided game. I'm not saying it's gonna be. Draft is something, and execution is something else. They have great heroes, you know. Because I say that, but the Marcy Viper, they can. Okay, they go for the Sven. That is a hero we have not seen as much.
Interesting choice. The lane against MP has a way to deal with treants, burst damage for the Alk. He covers a couple of bases, right?
He kills the Alk. If he has a good game, Alk dies to Sven at any stage of the game.
Warcry is also fantastic against all this -1.
Alright, good luck, both teams.
With a shard, becomes
Game number 2. Sana wala nang game number 3.
Also survived through the fights, which is
also
very important to dish out the damage.
Out now.
That was a rare big smile on Ame's face as well, though.
He's not convinced.
He's very, very confident.
Being a potent Sven player himself, maybe not a good sign. But yeah, we want an even game, and we're gonna get an even game. I'm pretty sure.
Yep. No, yeah, Seth says it. You know, that's how it works, guys. Are you guys siding with the Sven? You guys think it's enough? What does the Sven need actually to get online? If you're a Team Spirit, that's the question.
He needs the team to be able to enable him when he doesn't have that god strength, because it still feels like you're really useless. Early on, you need to use it to farm. You need to use it for accelerating at the same extent as this Alchemist will be. So yeah, I really feel like you do have somewhat of the lineup to be able to do that. Of course, Viper, Marcy, Ember Spirit, they're real early game oriented heroes. So if they're able to do that, you've got a chance. But I think this Alchemist is going to be a little bit too much. Once again, they have drafted a hard to kill lineup on LGD.
Well, we can say it more times, but it's not going to change, you know. Hope we've storm hammered the point home. That is going to be difficult for the Sven, but Team Spirit can still execute this. Will they be able to force a game of 3? We'll find out with Beacop and Black.
Alright,
thank you very much, Pablo, and the panel
one game number 3.
Team Spirit Storm hammer their way through the hopes of LGD taking the 2-0 series in this one. We'll have to find out. This is a tough lineup to go up against if you're the side of Team Spirit. Black, I gotta know. Are you confident in a Sven? Are you confident in what this draft brings for Team Spirit? Or is it too much from LGD?
I gotta side with the panel this time around.
Okay.
Where LGD's lineup looks really solid. I think the only weak point they might have is that Nature's Prophet needs some sort of farm, so does Alchemist. Like, they're really very reliant on Pangolier to make the early game work for them. If Spirit can overrun them in that early game, maybe they have a chance in the mid-late game, you know, but I'm not the biggest fan of Sven. The walk is nice, as the panel spoke about with the shard. It's undispellable. It's basically like an AC walking around passively. It's very strong, don't get me wrong, especially against a physical damage lineup like this, but will it be enough? We'll see. We'll see.
We'll have to see. We saw, obviously, the Viper in the last game. As Team Spirit, they had a 3K lead to start it off. It felt like everything was going up Millhouse for them. Then LGD pretty much said, no, we're fighting as 5 now. You guys have to catch up. It was, what, 7 minutes into the game, 7-7. LGD had heroes, 5 heroes over mid, and they were just ready to go. So it's a wonder here if it might even just go the same way as game number 1.
Yeah, now the only difference here is that their 5-man isn't nearly as strong as it was in the last game. Not until Alchemist gets fat, at least. Which will take a while, you know, like good timings on the Radiance are usually like 10, 11 minutes.
Right.
And I dare say, if he does get a Radiance at minute 10 or 11, this game is going to get really difficult. So they need to shut down the Alchemist as much as possible, while making sure they don't lose too many towers to this Nature's Prophet as well.
Yeah, can they do it? They've got Collapse back on the Viper. We saw Collapse was able to take advantage of the weakness there in that lane when he was able to get Ame a couple times. They got that gold from the Bear, which kind of did give them a bigger lead, that 300 gold that they were getting from the Bear multiple times. So they won't really have that available. They could still get these kills, but it won't be as much gold, of course, if they don't get the Bear, right? Yeah. It's a rebound in by Mira. He got Unstable Concoction, nothing really doing. And it ends up being 3 bounty runes for the side of Team Spirit and 1 for LGD.
So a small little lead in the early game already. Always nice.
First blood's always nice too, if you were able to get that. I know how that feels.
But 1 bounty advantage is basically like 3 creep kills per hero.
Okay.
Not a small thing. In this early game, especially when the lanes are so important.
Yeah, we'll see if they can expand on this, a little bit of a lead, and how the lanes are going to go. What lane is the hardest for each team?
I would say securing the Alchemist top is not easy. You have to dazzle with the sustain, but we already saw Marcy and Viper last game. Like, Lone Druid is one of the best laners, and they completely crushed him.
So does that mean you stay a little bit more conservative up in top for Ame and Y, and wait for those levels where maybe you feel a little bit more comfortable with the Dazzle behind you?
You need Acid Spray. Once you have Acid Spray plus Poison Touch, there's a lot of trade potential. You also always have the Prophet that can TP in and help you. So eventually this lane is going to get really hard for Team Spirit, but at the very beginning, oh, why is it being aggressed on?
It's going to be tough, is where I think you were going with that. And Y is probably agreeing with you right now as he gets chased by Mira all the way behind the tower. He does have 5 tangos to work with. So he's A-OK for now. He has also got that heal, level 1, and he pops us out.
I'm not crazy, right? There was keyboard sounds in that voice line?
Yeah, not us. For anybody that thinks it might be.
Yeah, so top lane is, in theory, a very nice combination, right? Acid Spray, -4 armor, then you have the physical damage of Poison Touch plus Shadow Wave, so there is a lot of combo potential, but not super easy to pull off. Well, you have to be very careful when you're Mira here. The longer this Poison Touch stays on top of you, the more damage you obviously take. Half health already.
Yeah, on the run, TP away. He's TPing to the tier 1 tower, and just another sentry to make sure that, well, he can keep the advantage there.
Yeah, mid lane, same matchup as last game. Should be very, very even again. And then we'll see the same thing again. People rotating, who gets better rotations. We'll create a better team for him, a better environment for his team, right?
Same matchup over mid.
Yep. I want to see Toronto Tokyo adjust his item build a little bit though. Like that early BKB last game didn't really work out at all.
Would you prefer the Maelstrom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just some scalability. I even thought about potentially like a fast vessel. Oh, why? You're in trouble. He's dead.
This right-click damage certainly hurts, and they're going to ping right away that they have the ward, but it's not going to matter. It's first blood for Collapse. So back-to-back games here for Team Spirit in which they claim that first blood.
Yeah.
And the lane's looking pretty solid at the moment. The only one who's really struggling is kind of the Ember. Unstable concoction. Ame, he's got to run. They've got the heal, but they don't have the health. It'll be a trade in which Y gets the kill. Not the worst thing in the world for him to get, but you do not want Ame dying. Like you said, if LGD are able to get that open space for the Alchemist, get to that 11-minute radiance, they're going to feel like they're in a good spot. But every kill on Ame is one that slows him down pretty immensely.
And now look, they're expected to lose their top lane in LGD. It's all about surviving, getting the levels up on Alchemist so you can start jungling comfortably. And you are probably expecting a death for 2 on this Alchemist. This lane is incredibly difficult.
And we've seen this story before, right? Viper gets ahead, he takes top of the net worth, and then all of a sudden, if you don't snowball continually, he kind of slows down and shuts off.
Yeah. I mean, you've even seen last game, right? He was like 1,000 net worth ahead of everyone.
Yep.
Couldn't really translate into anything else. So you have to be a bit careful.
Avalanche out.
Poshka, you're just dead.
Mapushka, he's gone to ZinQ.
Just like that.
With the tiny of ZinQ, are able to secure that kill and even it up at 2. Again, it feels like we're following the same storyline. Spirit gets a couple kills, they go back the other way for LGD. Shield Crash trying to survive. Nothing to say, but the Sleight of Fist is there.
Solo kills in mid lane should not happen. Nice play by Toronto Tokyo.
Still,
by Ame again.
Back and forth. Ame, shallow grave, but I don't think that's really going to make it any less deep. He'll step and be 6 foot under.
Yeah. This lane is really incredibly strong. You got 2 poison stacks on you, you get thrown back, you're dead. Nothing you can do. Faith Bjorn, once he's 6, he will be able to make a massive difference top though. He can TP, Wrath of Nature, lots of damage can come out. Same enough with this already. Once he's 6, he can easily rotate top. Viper is a very immobile hero. Easy to hit the rolling thunder on.
Spirit again. Top lane.
Oh!
Mira just gets blown away.
Tick damage. Oh, he's a very fine. He's fine. But you can see the potential, right? 3 creeps. That's like 400 damage right there. Straight in his face.
He's gotten 1-1-2 so far. Obviously, Y getting a little bit of a boost in that experience thanks to the kill that he got on Mira earlier after Ame died.
Yeah, but Ame is feeling pretty uncomfortable up here. So his timings will be delayed quite significantly. And I think last time LGD played Alchemist, something similar happened.
Yeah.
Right, Arma like couldn't really find his foothold in the game. He even went for like a medallion before Radiance.
It's not his most comfortable hero.
Yeah, we'll really see how this game goes for him. Especially if they keep messing with him in his jungle as well.
He's got the 2-1-1. He's got one of the Greebles greed. He's trying to farm his way back. Boots, Bracer, so far for him.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Not
attack.
really peaking at the top of the net worth the way collapses once again. Back-to-back games on this
might be in trouble
Viper.
again.
Mira on the run, trying to chase down Y. And will rebound into the tower, but doesn't grab the dispose on the Dazzle, so Y's A-okay.
Yeah, slight miscommunication. Viper went back. Mira wanted to go in.
Stormhammer, dual breath.
Goodbye, me
But they've got
Poshka.
3 heroes here with the help of Nothing to Say. They'll take out the Jakiro, and it's again LGD showing off that group-up mentality to get more of these kills. That was the same thing that Nothing to Say did in the last game, except he went top.
Yeah.
Came over, got a couple of kills, and his game started to boost out.
And for Arma now, it's all jungling. Level 3 acid spray makes it really easy to do so. And he's going to be level 6 momentarily. So, a little bit of a skirmish in the mid lane, but...
They want it. They got the avalanche.
He's stuck here in
a
wet
bad
position.
spot. Toss into another hit. Bounce
Wow.
up into the air. And Nothing to Say with the help of the Tiny is able to get a kill on the Toronto Tokyo. A little bit of revenge for this Pangolier.
I've seen it so many times where people are like, yeah, I have a little bit of a lead on you. Why? He has a TP available, but...
Yeah, Shallow Grave too, as long as... Now maybe TP, but it's probably too late. Shallow Grave will wear off. He's got the heal, but it won't matter. Collapse now dominating as well. This Viper has 4 of the 5 kills for the side of Team Spirit.
That gives a lot of space to Alchemist, though. He is happily farming away in the jungle.
Maposhka's come top to try and secure the tower.
Yeah. And bot tower is being pressured by the Prophet. So, all around, Spirit is doing the right thing, but again, the draft is in the favor of LGD. Can they outplay enough to make up for that?
Middle tower is under attack.
Invading the jungle is very nice,
Dire's structures are fortified.
but again, Alchemist, after the bot tower is down, he will just migrate there and make that area his own.
Right.
You give Arma 4 or 5 minutes, he's gonna have his Radiance.
So is the onus on Team Spirit to make the moves and aggress on Ame whenever they see him?
Yeah, but it's not easy, right? With the split push of Prophet, global presence, you have the Pangolier for team fights as well. It's a difficult task.
Right now, Nothing to Say. He's going into the Diffusal Blade. He's not terribly far away from it.
Yeah.
He's been farming okay. He's in 3rd for his cores. Searing Chains, as well as the Dual Breath. They've got the heal. They do have Shallow Grave. Not needed at the moment. They're going to come over with the Rolling Thunder and make something happen on the side of LGD by getting a kill on Amira. And it's just 1 so far. But it doesn't look like Spirit's going to get anything back for their troubles. They brought a lot of heroes here. But LGD still come out ahead. And again, it's opening up in more space for Ame, who, like you said, he's bot.
Kind of looks like last game, right? Where LGD is just fighting as 4 or 5 the entire time. And in the process trying to make space. But yeah, the 3 cores of LGD are very well farmed. 1k lead ahead. It's not a massive lead considering you have an Alchemist, but still, the Prophet and Pango are also very farmed.
So the net worth is going to be deceiving with the more and more space that LGD gets, as it will be a lot on the Alchemist.
Oh, that's damage.
The question becomes, is it all on the Alchemist? And right now, that's really not the truth, right? We've seen Alchemist games where the other 2 cores get nothing, but the way with Faith Beyond plays this Nature's Prophet, it's certainly possible that this team gets more around the map. That being said, Nothing to Say, he's in trouble. He is going to survive with the Shallow Grave for now. He'll try to TP away, and he'll be fine.
Mira's in trouble now.
Mira is the one going down with the treants in front of him, but Mira turns it. They'll look over. They've got the rebound into these heroes. They get the kill on Mira. They look over Faith Beyond. They've got themselves the Ice Path on it too. They take out Faith Beyond as well as Y. They'll look for ZQ. Dual Breath. The damage is out on a Tiny, but not enough. Toronto Tokyo, though, thinking about chasing and getting this +1, and the Slight just isn't the killing blow.
Yeah, good fight overall, though, by Spirit. Keeping up the pressure, and all the little skirmishes, while Sven is farming, benefit them a lot. Did Nothing to Say kill what just eluded him, though. Would have been a massive one to pick up.
Yep.
because he's closing in on his diffuser blade. Once that's up, all of the heroes are so mana reliant. One swashbuckle can literally just ruin your team fight.
How close is he to that? Not too far?
Yep, just about 600 gold. And remember, a farming war will always be won by Alchemist.
Right.
He doesn't have max level greed yet, so it's not as fast as it can be. But you know, he's getting his levels up.
He's certainly getting there. He's getting close to that sacred relic. And we'll see how quickly he's into the Radiance. You would have liked it here at the 11-minute mark. But
he got shut down on the left lane.
Yeah, the top lane wasn't exactly easy or smooth sailing for him.
Yeah. Now they're just diving to get the mid tower. They need to open up the map ASAP.
ZAKU, he's in. Avalanche landing on a 2. They've got the toss up into the air. They're looking for the Rolling Thunder. They've got.
He ran it back in.
Back white. Toronto.
There was a misclick.
Oh boy. I thought he got out. I think
everybody thought he got out.
Yeah. The tips come out from LGD.
Which is a rare thing to happen.
And I mean, that is very rare for Toronto Tokyo, but certainly something that could end up being maybe a little bit tilting.
Well, Alchemist farming the enemy jungle very aggressively, but he knows his team is just around the corner. Ready, completed now. Onto the Radiance.
Yeah, on to finishing it all up.
They're picking out the Alchemist position.
Toronto Tokyo, they're gonna go rebound. They're on the run. If they could go for Y first, maybe they catch up to Ame and get the kill there, but the sight of his Searing Chains, Poison Touch, Dispose, all onto Y. He'll shallow grave, buy his time. Nobody coming here for the side of LGD just yet. They do have 2 heroes in the vicinity, but not moving in.
I dare say he could have actually TP'd. They all used their stuns already. Like, if he TP'd there, there would have been some mental damage right there.
Yeah.
4 heroes to kill a Dazzle, and he just TP's out.
Back-to-back mental damage could have been devastating. Look at this stack.
Oh yeah, after that stack, the Radiance is pretty much done. Also gets the Troll Camp, which summons the 3 nice little skeletons that we all love. But Alchemist even more so.
Let's watch the gold skyrocket.
Or not, if you're a Spirit fan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying naturally. If it takes this camp, it's going to do its thing, right?
That's the Radiance pretty much done at this point. Yep, here we go. And probably just into the BKB Blink Dagger next. Once that's up, it's going to be incredibly hard to shut him down.
So not that 11-minute Radiance you were hoping for, but it does come out for about 13
Still very
and a half
fast.
minutes. Yeah, still about a half minute faster than normal. 80 matches. So a lot of Alk being played. And there's the Hurricane Pike finished off for Collapse. That's pretty quick, 1.5 minutes quicker than the average as well. Looking to go in and have the Rolling Thunder. They'll go after Mira, but he'll rebound away.
Slowed a lot though.
Mira on the run. Viper Strike through onto Nothing to Say. He's got to be careful, and so does ZAKU. They've got the Storm Hammer, Avalanche on a 4, as well as the Swashbuckle landing on these heroes. They've got the Sprout, they have the control. They look over Toronto Tokyo, the rebound once again. Nothing to say, he doesn't have the Rolling Thunder. He already went in with the Shield Crash, but he's got the save from Y with the Shallow Grave. Swashbuckle getting Toronto Tokyo very low. They've got the Sprout with the Force Staff, which is actually the Hurricane Pike to get away. Unstable Concoction, the Storm Hammer out onto Ame, but they've got the Disarm onto the Sven. They're looking maybe to get the Remnant back into the fight, but there's Faith Beyond behind them all. Goes into Toronto Tokyo. They get the Hero. They've got the Ice Path onto 2, but it's not going to matter. Yatoro is gone, but Pushka, he's only going to survive for a little bit longer as they are in on this Jakiro, and it's a triple kill for Ame.
Worst case scenario. He just picked up his Radiance. They take a fight straight after. 4-0 trade. Well, not really trade. 4-0 fight rather. Get the mid tower. The map gets opened up even more, and you're already playing against the clock.
Right.
This is worst case scenario for Spirit, and this grand final might be one of the shortest in history, like ever.
So you're saying we should extend it to a BO7?
I personally would love that.
I'm down.
But then again, LGD destroyed Spirit in this tournament in particular. Like, if LGD wins this, it's 4-0.
Yeah.
And 4-0, in which all of the games so far at least have been very one-sided.
Ame, 11,000
He's so rich.
net worth.
He's so rich. This is the Alchemist factor, right? Suddenly, BKB. We spoke about like Radiance being finished within 1340. 2 minutes later, it's BKB.
Yeah. It really can be record numbers if given the right opportunity.
They might catch him down here, though.
8,000 net worth lead. They're going to try and go.
He's getting greedy.
Does have Dazzle, though, over to the side. So with Y there, he should be fine. But now Y's the one spotted. So he'll probably just try to grave himself and run. But it does allow Ama to get out.
Yeah, which is really the important part. Alchemist is fine. He now has his BKB. With that BKB, he is pretty much unkillable. They don't have any sort of instant stun. And he's way better than...
Look at that. You see the average?
What was the average? Is he way above the average?
It was the line, and he was well above it at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Like, his early game wasn't perfect, but despite that, he still found so much fun on the map. Nice text also from his team. 3 minutes faster on the BKB than average as well.
That is...
he's a big boy.
Oh, yeah. The thing here to note, too, and, you know, it's another game with Toronto, Tokyo struggling in terms of net worth.
Yeah, yeah. What item was he going for this time? He has the Maelstrom at least, so it's not all over, but... Yeah. The windows are closing. There's also BKB on Prophet already. I don't actually know how Spirit fights anymore.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
He'll go to the Shard, he'll up his pushing prowess, and, well, right now, LGD, they're over in the top lane. And they'll secure themselves the tier 1.
Yeah. And even if you ever get the Alchemist to near death, he's gonna get like an 80% heal amp from the Dazzle, and he's gonna heal like 200 health per second. Which is also gonna be ridiculous. The drafts of LGD in these playoffs have been insane. They lost one game to Nigma where the draft was a bit rough. The other 6 games so far, near perfect draft. Easy Roche as well. You cannot fight into LGD in this moment. All you can do is split push, which is the worst case scenario against Alchemist, because he's just going to outscale you so much faster than you can.
And now there's going to be an Aegis.
Yeah.
Like, Yatoro's doing his job. He's going into the enemy triangle, trying to farm everywhere he can. Of course, every time there's a Roche, there's a double damage to take.
Now.
And they've bottled it on, nothing to say. They'll pick up the Aegis on Ame, and he is continuing to roll here. 8,000 net worth lead for the side of LGD.
Yeah. So it's the correct thing to do for Yatoro, of course, but in this entire series, he has mostly been farming the enemy ancients and the enemy jungle, because that's the safest space on the map, which is not good news for you.
No, not at all. Not at all. And, well, Ame's doing the same thing. He's over in their triangle, so...
Yeah. He's going to report the next
I
one
can
as well.
do better, apparently, is the way that these teams are playing. 3-man smoke. Obviously, they don't need Faith Beyond. He can TP into the fight a little bit later. Maposhka's been very greedy. He's been sitting here for a long time.
I know he's dead.
And now he is so dead.
Yeah. They're just waiting for the AC on Alchemist to really start putting up the tower pressure. Oh, Yatoro, he has his BKB, so shouldn't be able to kill him too easily.
Did you see nothing to say and wanted to go for that?
Perhaps. He's pretty tanky himself. He also has Sync backup. Who doesn't have a dagger yet? He's 100 gold away. Once that's up, there's even more initiation potential.
Ame up top.
Ooh, that was a close one indeed. Probably wouldn't have been enough for the kill, but a scare bomb.
So he's got the Hyperstone for the AC. Yeah. And Faith Beyond. BKB used, okay. And ZinQ.
Was it just a test BKB or TP2? Or to TP out?
I was looking at it.
Sounds like a test BKB then. Yeah, Alchemist pretty much into his Assault Cuirass already. 200 gold away from it. How do you stop him if you can't go into the enemy jungle?
You said you lose the farming game.
Yeah.
If you're Team Spirit. Obviously, you're going to be down in net worth. But is there a point where you start to break the walls down here?
They will have massive timings on LGD, right? But if Spirit can deflect them 2 or 3 times, their lane game is not half bad themselves. Alchemist will get outscaled. It's just, how often can they deflect them? Because right now, LGD's timing is almost impossible to stop, I'd say.
Right.
This AC on the Alchemist plus Acid Spray is just a casual -12 on wherever he's fighting.
He's pushing into the mid-tier 2, and that is 4.5 minutes faster than the patch average on Alchemist, the AC.
Yep.
like I said, breaking records and continuing to grow. And it almost feels like at times LGD's just kind of ignoring Team Spirit because they know that they're scaling better.
Yeah, they have nothing to worry about until Alchemist hits his critical timing. Once that's up, that's when they might be scared to lose some fights. But
And there's the split in averages between Ame and Yatoro. You can see the solid lines being this game, the checkered lines being the average for the patch, and that is such a split for Ame. You know, Yatoro, he's ahead of the average. He's not having a horrible game, but when you get compared to the Alchemist, it's not going to look good, and maybe I might have jinxed him. He goes into the BKB, he's on the run, he'll throw the Storm Hammer, go to the Godstrike, trying to fight back, going after Faith Beyond, doing the damage, and he'll get a kill out on the Nature's
he can't be out though.
But now they've got why. They have ZOOMFLOW, the supports will finish off the carry of Team Spirit. And it ends up being a trade that, yeah, you get a kill out of it, but it's probably not to value.
He did the best that he could out of the situation, right? But yeah, you definitely don't want to be losing your spend like that. He is itemizing into pure damage, which I think is the right call, because his Alchemist is getting ridiculously tanky.
Right.
But who in that team is going to address the Dazzle? That's the real question.
How do they jump the Dazzle?
Exactly. If you can't address him, he's going to get the Grave off, and we spoke about the heal amplification. Right? He's going to heal like 1,000 health in that Grave.
He'll probably finish off this Force Staff, maybe pick himself up that shard that is so devastating from the Dazzle.
Yeah. He also has the Philosopher's Stone,
So he's
going
getting
to be
that.
scaling nicely.
That
If he ever gets
Philly
into the
gold.
Octarine core, by the way, that's almost a perma Grave. You have like half a second downtime on it. Pretty disgusting.
Half a second, very balanced and very available to break through, of course. So what did Ame just get there? He's got the Basher, went the other way, thought he wanted the blink. Meanwhile,
By Mira.
up top, Mira, he is in trouble, and he is gone to the Tiny. RC may be strong in the anime, but at this moment right now in this game, not looking too strong, not looking comparable.
Aegis runs out in 10 seconds. Maybe they can catch him off guard, but the Tiny's already there.
Yeah, Avalanche toss all the way back. They go to the BKB here. Got the single concoction charging up. They'll lose the Aegis, but now Yatoro's in. He's trying to make something happen, but they've got the bashes coming through on the spin. He's in so much trouble, but there's the Storm Hammer as well as the Ice Path. They get the kill on the collapse. They'll look for the Rolling Thunder. They're trying to go the other way. They've got Maposhka locked up as well as the Avalanche coming out from ZOOMFLOW. Remnant back the Sprouts on 2, but they get out of it. Nothing to say is still committing with the Rolling Thunder. He's into the base, but now trying to leave. He's been disposed while Maposhka drops. There's nothing to follow up the damage, though, or the lockdown from Team Spirit.
They're going high ground again. They don't really have the greatest defense. All they have is a Sleight of Fist every 6 seconds, but the buildings are going to fall so fast.
They go in, they jump, they've got the Avalanche toss again, and Mira looking like he'll fall once more. Dead for 35 seconds. LGD are just bending Spirit to their will.
Yeah.
It's all LGD in this series thus far, and they are looking for a quick finish. ZOOMFLOW again, he just wants to get these kills. The BKB's been popped, they've got the site, but he's looking for the Remnant back. He's not looking to charge in, he's looking to retreat out. The Macro Pyres drop down as well as the Ice Path. They've got the lockdown on Ame, who no longer has that Aegis, but he's got a Dazzle ready to go. Dazzle is on it, Y is behind him, Shallow Grave always when he needs it.
Wow, they're really trying to force the issue by going for the throne there instead of the second set of racks. But yeah, you can just feel the confidence. Arma's in front. He doesn't really care at all what happens, because he's always going to be the Desert Grave, as you said. Initiations of ZOOMFLOW have been perfect. I mean, they're doing a 5-man smoke while all the lanes are being pushed in. That's desperation right there. We love our desperation smokes, right? Sometimes they work. Most of the time they don't. Let's see who's going to break it. Maybe Faith Beyond is the unlucky one.
Radiant are scanning.
But they know. They just
break in.
Yeah, they just completely passive on their side.
They can sit far enough back. They've got Ame continuing to farm while all this is going on. And I believe he's got the full Abyssal finished off. Deso picked up for Faith Beyond. The net worth lead continues to grow here for LGD. And Spirit are looking for a portal, for a tunnel away onto the other side where the grass is greener. And trying to find better pastures in this game, but it is feeling impossible.
Yeah. There's also now a Desolator on the Nature's Prophet, further amping up that minus armor, that physical damage. Honestly, these drafts of LGD are just nasty. Everything always comes together so nicely. Did Alchemist pick up anything? Yeah, the Abyssal Blade is finished. Almost into his blink already. Now it's their time to smoke. And Spirit doesn't want to be anywhere near that.
No, not at all, but Faith Beyond, he's TPing forward. He is really reaching, looking for something. ZAKU is placing down the vision. They've got the sentries in. Avalanche as well as the toss is going to be on the Sven. Yatro on the run, pops the BKB, they have the dispose, they go to the God Strength. ZAKU in trouble, but the Shallow Grave is there once again. Yatro, he's got to make the commitment, he's got to figure out whether or not he wants to go or leave. ZAKU burning down, gets killed off by Vaposhka. They're going to buy back on the Tiny, they'll look over at Ame. Ame standing his ground, going for the tier 3. They've got the Treants in, Mira with the dispose, they've stunned him up, they'll unleash, they've got the Shallow Grave once again, and Ame rips through Mira. Ame on the run with the Unstable Concoction charging, but he's got that BKB, so he is A-OK.
Yeah, well, at least they got a tiny buyback, which is always a good trade. But yeah, they've weathered the storm for now. The next Roshan is just around the corner, though. Can they stop him from taking it? Probably not, because they have like minus 17 armor.
Be a way back in if Spirit could.
They just have no BKBs or no God Strength. We all know what Sven is without God Strength. Not much.
Really tough.
Are they looking to go for Sven again, perhaps? No. Playing it safe for now. And we know LGD is so methodical, right?
Yeah. Yatro, he's starting to do damage. Like, for the game, if there's no Alchemist, he looks like he's doing a lot, right? But the Shallow Grave is there. The damage, he's got to figure out where can he commit, right?
Look at Roche go down. That's so much physical damage.
No double damage.
Oh yeah, they have the Lucky Shot 2, of course. Even more minus armor.
They're wrapping all the way in.
Too late.
It's not going to be in time, so there's an Aegis on Ame once again. And now Spirit need to think, are we going to commit for this one? They've got the BKB already popped on Collapse. Do they come in from behind? They need to think about their commitment. They've got Faith Beyond who's in the pit. Yatro, he's not sure what he wants to do. Faith Beyond is just going to TP out from the pit. They'll look over, it's nothing to say. He's going to pop the BKB. They'll go after the Viper. They'll get the kill on a Collapse. And it's hesitancy coming in from Team Spirit, unsure what they wanted to do once that Aegis was picked up.
Yeah, they're in an incredibly tough position. It's basically elimination game for them. And they're so far behind. What's the solution you can really find? It's just Armor hitting the tower with Treants. You have to initiate an Armor, but he has an Aegis, he has a Dazzle. You have to wrap around behind, which they're trying to do right now with the smoke. If they can kill the Dazzle, there's hope. But look, he's very well sandwiched to the left.
Mira just takes so much damage. They've got the toss back side of Toronto Tokyo. There's the Abyssal Blade to follow it up. They get the kill onto the Ember. They bought back on 2 of these heroes from behind them. Is Yatro. They bought back on 3, but they've got the Shallow Grave. It's going to be on a Y this time. The damage is going to be enough as they've got the stun with the bashes. Yatro can't survive. Spirit's dreams are melting as LGDs are growing. They'll go for Mira once again. They get the kill on Vaposhka. He's got buyback on this Jakiro, but they're on their last legs. They're really trying to make something happen as they get the kill on nothing to say. They'll take the Pangolier. They'll also glyph up their base. 3 seconds on the Unstable Concoction, looking for somebody to throw it onto, but it will stun himself. Yatro sprouted up, and he's not able to engage. ZAKU going in with the Avalanche after the blink. He's trying to get his hands onto the Sven as well as toss him up. They've got the Sleight of Fist as well as the Searing Chains coming out from Toronto Tokyo, but this base is going down. They've only got the mid-set racks holding them from Mega Creeps and LGD. They really don't need to fully commit. They are so far ahead that they can do whatever they please in this game.
They can wait for the Alk ult. They don't have to. They have a dispel with the Berserker Potion. They're just going in. Armistice is BKB as well. Nothing to be worried about at all.
Yeah, Ice Path damage out on Ame, but again, he's got that Aegis. He won't even need to use it at the moment they go to the Shallow Grave. Ice Path is there, toss up into the air, and they will catch themselves a couple. The Remnant over to the side, Toronto Tokyo trying to get a kill on a ZAKU. He's moving over, but he's been hexed up. He's on the run, a Remnant away. ZAKU taking some damage, but the Rolling Thunder comes out onto the Ember. They'll toss him up into the air. They get the kill on a Toronto Tokyo for 90 seconds. And it's really just last hopes, last-ditch efforts here for Team Spirit. They'll move forward once again. They've got the Avalanche. Collapse is going to be disarmed, and all they can do is watch. LGD is taking their base. They've got the Hex once again, and Ame goes in on the Collapse. The Hurricane Pike is going to get him away and let him survive for a moment, but they've got Yatro in their hands, in their grasp, and LGD
GG, congrats.
trophy as they will take the Series 2-0 over Team Spirit and become your champions.
It's been the fastest grand final we've ever had, to be honest. What was it, 30, 50
Let's
minutes?
go.
45?
It
Let's go,
was
guys.
so fast from LGD. I mean, the series didn't even feel like it lasted an hour. This game only 30 minutes. I believe the last one,
just
34. It's an hour victory in the grand finals for LGD.
Daming throw ng Spirit. Oo nga eh. Yung sa mid yun, yun na triple kill na.
Twice even. They beat them 4-0 in this tournament. No chance at all for Team Spirit whatsoever. Outdrafted, outplayed, outstrategized. Just everything. LGD is such a scary team when they get everything online.
Yeah, and it's crazy to feel that they can be so calm.
Hindi pa masaya si Ami dyan eh. Si Tia yan eh.
Prize money, it's the 8th biggest prize pool in Dota history.
Pero laki nung ano, pero mataas yung prize pool dito.
On an international land for LGD. There were doubters at times on LGD's streak here as they only went 4-3, but they lifted the trophy.
Let's go.
PSG.LGD.
Fate Beyond. Last to CQ. Ayaw hawakan ni Ame. Hindi daw yan yung TI Champion Aegis eh. Gusto lang yung hawakan ni Ame yung Aegis. Yung Aegis of Immortal ng TI 11, yun daw yung gusto niyang hawakan.
LGD lifting the trophy. It's
mabigat.
Some of them.
Cutie holding that trophy.
Xiaoba tried to saw it. It's a bit too heavy for him. He's like, hey, FFB, and you want to have this again?
You gotta have the muscles to lift the trophy, and it seems like they do here on LGD, at least for the most part.
FFB on again, yeah.
Lifting it up, showing off the gains, showing off the muscle. It does look like a heavy trophy. He's even.
It looks really heavy.
Yeah, he's really struggling a little bit.
Badaw mga alay.
And they all line up. Everybody happy here for LGD as they do take the series 2-0. An hour and 3 minutes total is all they needed to take this victory. And it's a little bit of revenge here. It may not be TI prize money, but it is big money on the line here as LGD. I mean, again, I said it before. International LAN for this team, for RNG, for LGD, and it's a lot of experience to gain, especially they've got their own metas, things shifted. We saw the meta change come in, we saw what teams brought from their own regions. What's your biggest takeaway? LGD, is it the dominance, is it the drafting?
I think it's just the adaptability over the course of the tournament. They got destroyed by Team Secret, they changed the style a little bit, then they had one really bad game against Team Nigma. Once they lost that game, they again changed, just keep evolving. And in this form, they're probably considered the favorites for the major as well, which is just around the corner.
Malapit na yung major, Arling.
Tiebreakers to the major would be the favorite. Not this guy, that's for sure. Not this guy, that's for sure. Nobody thought they were the favorites coming into this one as they had performed pretty mediocre, some would say to plan. But yeah, LGD, they do a great job at this event.
Talimaw talaga LGD, no?
They showed a lot of what they have to offer going into the major. It certainly looked like
shoutout sa 44 viewers natin. Thank you guys for watching.
Team Spirit, right?
Our
They
stream.
played really well. They got to this point. They beat Secret.
I hope you enjoyed
like
the stream.
A team that was gonna be unbeatable.
They're the only team that beat Secret here.
Good, you know?
They beat Secret in the playoffs. They eliminate them. They got that one game in the group stage. It was Secret who felt very much like the favorite after group stage, that's for sure. And it's Spirit that shows resiliency. That shows that, yes, they can still be the top team at moments when it's needed, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the very beginning, their group stage looked a bit iffy. They also obviously evolved throughout the tournament. They got better and better and better. Beat Secret ultimately, which a lot of people didn't think they would.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, this grand final was just tough. LGD just showed up in the best form ever. It's a BO3 also, so you can't really allow yourself too many mistakes, you know? And it's just a lot of pressure on you, honestly. You lose that first game, they have you out-drafted again. You're like, oh my god, what can we really do? LGD is not a team to really drop the ball on that.
No, they really, I said in the game, they made Spirit bend to their will, and LGD, both drafts, knew what they wanted to do, and they executed it really well. And you even talked about the fact that they have an Alchemist, and you said the mindset's there. He's gonna die. He's going up against Marcy and Viper, and they went with that. They made sure that, okay, he's gonna die a couple times, but we open up the map for him, and that's what they did. They had Ame farming as he just continued to get more wealth and eventually take that game and get the series, and LGD end up being your champions. It really was just such a work of art, and we're gonna see what they have to say from LGD as we get into the interview.
Now on the stage by the champions, PSG.LGD. Congratulations on the victory. First off, Easy question. How does it feel to be the Riyadh Master Champions?
特别开心，很爽。
I feel so happy right now. Audience saying that they are also quite happy.
I can imagine you are happy. And talk me through the emotion of this, because coming in this tournament, you were the last team to arrive, limited time to prepare. How did you overcome this to come all this way to lift the trophy?
请和大家说一下，你们是本个比赛最后一个到沙特的，然后你们是拥有最少的时间去训练、去调整、去倒时差的。然后能不能分享一下是什么原因导致你们最后能够举起这个奖杯，战胜了所有的困难呢？
可能更多的是在一起确认了明确的目标，然后遇到了困难，然后也一起第一时间的想办法如何更好的调节彼此的心态，然后再解决每一个课题吧。
So there are 2 points. The most important point is like we set a goal as a team. We have a common goal, common target, and we're trying our best to reach it. And the second point is that, of course, there are ups and downs. If there are some challenges happening, we just assess ourselves and we just cope with that. And we did it.
And you definitely did do an amazing job here. Round of applause again for that. I want to talk to you about the length of this legacy. You guys have been together 2 years. You must feel like a family. Are you proof that keeping a team together for a long time is the way to find success?
你们成为一个队伍，成为彼此的队员已经有2年时间了，像一个家庭一样。你们觉得这样的关系是一个成功的关键吗？
我听不清。
你们觉得这样的
当然是很好的，就是大家都比较了解彼此在无论是顺境的时候，大家开心的点在哪，然后在比较困难的时候，大家都知道为什么会这样子，然后大家彼此开解彼此吧。
I think it's very good because we already know each other very well, and we know why we are happy. Because we're winning some games, we might be doing well in some aspects. We know why, and we also know why we are not so happy because there are some challenges, and we just get it over together as a team, as a family.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that you're like a family.
我也听不懂。
And you know, this is an incredible event, right? We're talking about $1.5 million. That is 8 DPC majors. How does winning this compare to winning a Dota Pro Circuit major?
我们都知道这个比赛的冠军奖金是$150万，相当于8个 major 的冠军奖金。想请问一下，你们是怎么看待这一点的？
当时觉得这个比赛特别牛逼啊，然后希望他有能力下次来办个 major 啊这种的。
All of us feel like this is a great tournament. We're talking about this Riyadh Masters, and we're hoping that maybe we're looking forward one day that Riyadh or Saudi Arabia is going to hold the next major of Dota 2. Yes, here we go. Perhaps the international, perhaps the TI. Let's see.
Oh, I love that answer. That answer is amazing. Okay. We finally got to see Chinese Dota on the international stage, the first time since TR. Major is just ahead of us. Is this the beginning of Chinese dominance on the international stage again?
我们终于看到中国队伍回到国际舞台中了，以及 Major 已经近在咫尺了，就是我们马上就要去打 Major 了。那么你们觉得这是一个统治的时代的开始吗？他
说中国队终于可以出国打第一个国际赛事，你有没有觉得这次比赛是你去打美酒和 TI， 这是你统治这个中国队统治这个世界的开始？
统治不至于吧，然后但肯定是个开始，然后让无论是现场还是在线上一直看的观众粉丝，然后支持中国 Dota Chinese Dota。
We wouldn't say it's a beginning of a dominance. We will say it's a beginning of something. we would like all the fans who are supporting here and who are supporting us online on the TV feel satisfied and to continuously support Chinese Dota, because CN Dota, best Dota.
I don't think I can say anything to top that. What an amazing performance out of LGD. Thank you for this interview. Thank you for the amazing Dota you put on, and congratulations on becoming the Riyadh Master Champions.
祝贺你们，祝贺。
Thank you.
What a phenomenal tournament we've had here. The final series has been done. We have crowned our champions. PSG.LGD are your first Riyadh Master Champions, but this all needs to be broken down. An amazing moment here on the stage, but now we head across the desk for the closing of the show.
Thank you. We're here for the last panel of the day, or the last panel of the tournament altogether, because PSG.LGD takes that trophy 2-0. The only 2-0 series of the whole playoffs is going to be the grand finals, of course. That's just Dota for you. Let's talk about the last game. I mean, I think we said a lot in the draft, but can we highlight some of the things that LGD did well on top of that draft?
Well played, man. Well played.
I mean, a lot of things. I think they had the confidence to go for the alt pick, which was the perfect pick for the game, besides maybe scary lane, which it ended up being a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they hold their composure really well. Honestly, I feel like, I mean, now they won the tournament, so it sounds stupid to say, but I think they're by a large margin the best team in this tournament.
Ganda ng finals na to.
In terms of execution.
Na-excite na ako mag-major. Na-excite na rin ako mag-TI11.
I think it was quite impressive.
We can see this in the highlights brought to you by Aramco.
I mean, the big thing for me was synergy. That's the word that I want to go with for this tournament, because we were talking about it in the green room, so we were like, why don't more teams just pick stuff that makes sense together? You know, we saw in this game all the minus armor. You had the dazzle with the bad juju, you had the acid spray, lucky shot, you went into a desolator on the fury, and like it's so hard to be able to get through all of that. You might have a rougher start to the game, but again, it would get to that stage where you just couldn't kill anyone, and they had overwhelming damage to be able to deal with you.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the aspects of Dota that you need to take into account in order to really break the game, kind of.
Yeah, and I think one aspect as well that's not really so gameplay related is kind of the mentality and the fortitude that can bring. I think LGD, you know, straight away, game number one, we're like, Spirit, we already beat you with Lone Druid. We'll just do it again, right? And they smack them with Lone Druid. I mean, it was right back to that Spirit go, try and ban it in game two, and LGD just have more and more strats ready. This time, Seb, they brought the papers.
They did, and I mean, this is gonna be another year of LGD, you know, road to the international. You know, the kind of the rise up is starting. It is scary, you know, for whoever, you know, wish to kind of attend or get a shot at winning TI this year. Yeah, once again, they're here. Once again, they're dominating. It is really impressive.
And just on what you said before, Seb, about breaking the game, this isn't something that LG have done for the first time. You know, they did this at TI. They did this with their style of like the tiny light and buff stuff up with the Ogre Magi, so it's just much more powerful than it seems on face value, and it's the exact same here. They just make it work, and it's nothing that's completely new to Dota either. You know, the mass healing, mass armor reduction, damage reduction in as well, and you can see all the players, except for Faith Beyond, the absolute Chad that he is, just struggling with the sheer weight of that trophy.
Yeah, no, Faith Beyond used to carrying him, so of course he can carry the trophy as well. But I think something that's very beautiful LGD shows us is that this whole patch, you know, especially with a lack of changes, there's been a lot of talks about how important lanes are and how you win lanes, it's easy to win the game, and games are over so quickly. And it just takes a team that sees Dota differently to change that perspective, as we see here in the scoreboard brought to you by STC. I think a lot of teams have done that in the past, Wings, OG, EG at TI5 as well. That's, I think, the beauty in Dota, right? Seeing how maybe all our conceptions about it are just wrong sometimes, and it takes one team to show you that, right?
Yeah,
So
one team to change the metagame completely, change the way all the teams are gonna look at the game, approach, you know, drafting, strategizing, and that's the beauty of the game. This is also why these tournaments are very important, I think, to the state of Dota in general, to the state of competitive Dota, because these tournaments, yeah, they change everything. You know, having different regions clash with each other's, and you know, if you look at TeamSecret, I think they're also gonna be super happy with their form. They had a very disappointing major, obviously, and now this is a LAN where they kind of, yeah, they get to the grand finals in a really convincing fashion. And obviously, you know, TI is not yet around the corner, but we're definitely getting closer and closer to that, and I'm sure that this is gonna give them a big boost of confidence, and it's gonna also send a message to all the other teams out there. The TI 10 finals, it was meant to be, you know, it was no coincidence, and it might happen again.
this might be some copium talking here, but I honestly think second place might even be the best result for Team Spirit because they're not yet qualified for TI. They're going to be going to the Arlington Major. They didn't have the greatest performance during the DPC. Okay. They made some stuff work, but they got a real reality check there in the grand finals by PSG.LGD. So maybe they'll use that as the fuel to be able to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, this worked. We need to change this because it's a really challenging lineup that they're going to be having to go up against. More teams even that they had to play against here, more regions as well. So you're going to need to adapt to South American, Southeast Asian Dota, more NA Dota, right? Like it's such a valuable learning experience to be able to just be rocked a lot of the time in something that, again, second place, lots of money, lots of prestige, but TI, that's the real granddaddy one.
Yeah, you learn more by losing than by winning, right? So, I mean, I guess LGD has been learning for 3 years.
I suppose so, and I think the only lesson they were dealt here was courtesy of Secret in the group stage, right? I mean, those were not particularly close games. I think maybe a couple of fans, especially those of Team Secret, of Puppy, Crystalis, and the boys, Rezo especially, right? We're kind of hoping for that grand final rematch here. It didn't happen, right? Spirit proved to be the better team in that lower bracket finals, but, you know, I want to point that out, not as like a shot to LGD, but just to show, you know, they were really only put out of their comfort zone by one team in particular, and that's Secret. So even these teams that look flawless in grand finals, there might be some weaknesses to them.
Alright.
Of course, there's always a way to break, you know, any team out there, and that's the beauty of Dota, and that's also why we get so hyped watching these tournaments, because we know upsets are always kind of in the next room.
Yeah.
And something beautiful about having LGD, they have been actually as the
team keyboard
for so many years, right? Particularly this iteration of LGD. The versatility and adaptability, right? When we saw other strategies being broken, like it seemed like the meta sometimes favors a team, right? It's a strategy that works well with them, or they figure something out earlier than the rest. But LGD, you have to figure out 5, 6 different strategies, and that is always so nice to see. It sometimes feels like teams have to work on themselves, because you can't work on beating LGD.
No, absolutely. One point I want to raise as well with regards to LGD, Seb, but I know you're all about peaking at the right time. Obviously, TI is where you want to peak. So they're moving on to, you know, an upcoming LAN over in Arlington. How do you think they're going to be approaching that tournament? Obviously, this is a big victory for them. But now, do you take it easy? Do you play the same style of Dota, or do you approach it with like a learning mentality, or do you still just go all out because they're already qualified?
I think learning mentality. Honestly, I mean, they're always going to play to win. I think this is like it's in their DNA at this point. I think these guys are programmed to, you know, try to win whatever game they get into, which is, you know, the right way to approach it anyways. But as when, you know, they're going to maybe try to expand their playbook, and, you know, the amount of heroes they can play with, the strategies, the pace in which they will play. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that, and probably maybe chill a little bit more also before TI. I'm sure, you know, they came second, third, second. I don't need to, you know, nobody needs to do the math. We know what they're coming for. They're coming for TI 11 win, and they're going to try their best to achieve that. I wouldn't be against a new lockdown in China. Obviously not wishing that to anybody, but, you know, the Dota was easier when they could not come to these events. You know. They come and they win.
I mean, it'd be a huge boost as well. When you get these events, maybe it's not quite major, or it doesn't get DPC points, but any international event is a huge boost as well to the Chinese community. And they're one of the biggest communities in Dota. I think they were the starters of competitive Dota back then. Everyone was scared of Chinese Dota back in the TI1 days, and it's nice to see them back on top where some would say they belong. And LGD has been the team to do that for so long. So there's also a franchise history that represents a whole community for us spectators.
Yeah, certainly, and I mean, it's like inklings of the storylines from last year, right? Major, they completely dominate by far. I think no one can disagree they were the best team at that major, you know, going into these international lands, just proving their mettle, and then, again, building up to what might be another fantastic run at TI 11.
I love the story of, you know, you get the TI finals, and then, however many months later, you get it again.
Yeah.
It really says something about the quality of these tournaments, and also the reliability of getting the best teams in the finals. You know, it does mean that Dota is a great game. It's very well balanced. Also, you know, the format, the tournaments, the whole system, besides the flaws, you kind of get the best Dota has to offer.
It's also nice to see that every single TI, well, most TIs actually, get someone else that comes in and also usurps that spot, because it shows that Dota, there doesn't seem to be a ceiling. Like, we haven't reached it yet. I don't know when we will, if it ever
It's unreachable.
No one's
40k
perfect.
hours and still going. It's unreachable. The game is just too hard.
Right, it's just too hard, but that's what makes it so beautiful to us. That's why it's such a good spectator game. Like, we might not be able to perform as well as they do, but we get excited like they do, and that's what LGD has taught us. If you were to have to be as versatile as LGD, could you?
No,
Could you even
I'm a Wyvern
comprehend?
spammer, bro. No, I can't be
Exactly.
versatile. You look at my versatility score on my pentagram, it is non-existent.
Right, I think that's the case for a lot of Dota players, and it's almost interesting how we relish in LGD. It's like we live vicariously through their victories and through their great plays. So, you know, it's always wonderful to see a team like this win. I think good Dota will always win no matter what. And Team Spirit, as we talk about how much they've learned this tournament, how do you feel like that's going to affect their placing in Arlington Major?
I mean, you know, it's really hard to say where a team's going to be at mentally 2 weeks down the line, even tomorrow, right? But I would say, you know, certainly lessons to have learned here are definitely going to be from the draft.
Nga pala,
I
Arlington
think they
Major
can
na.
look at these past couple of games and really say, you know, with the good amounts of doubt maybe, but yeah, these drafts were pretty hard to play for us. You know, even the Marcy Viper lanes twice in a row, you know, not really working out, and I think perhaps here you can see now in the bracket, the 2-0 for LGD is that they do manage to overcome that toxic Viper pick.
Let's look over the tournament for the last time. Let's reminisce, you know, for the past few days have gone past in a blur. You might have forgotten about this. We started the first day of the playoffs. LGD versus nigmagalaxy. Nigma, they feel like they figured out LGD, but wham! LGD changes their strategy. All of a sudden, Nigma doesn't know what to do, and they get beat in the third game. Team wipe before the horn even starts. Then Team Spirit versus RNG. RNG bringing the Chinese meta to fruition. Team Spirit, however, prevails. They fix their mistakes that they had in the group stages. They go up against Secret. The final best of 3, we get to see what the game looks like, and Team Spirit seems superior. That puppy check not as strong as we once thought. Then OG versus PSG.LGD. OG was waiting there in the semifinals for PSG.LGD, but LGD knew exactly how to beat them as they outdrafted them, even in the 3 games, as some would say. In the grand final, we just witnessed PSG.LGD prevailed over Team Spirit, showcasing that comfort's nice, but versatility is better. What's next for the director? We don't know.
That was hype. That was visual. Like, who needs highlights when we have that?
You
like,
should be an auctioneer, bro.
I just relived the entire tournament. I saw the drafts. I saw the team fights. That was nice. I enjoyed that.
Thank you very much, Sev. Thank you for that. I enjoyed the whole tournament. Let's do a small last recap. Any favorite moments for the tournament? Favorite plays? You know,
Wala na pala ito eh.
I think for me in
Closing
particular,
the remarks na to eh.
seeing how teams adjusted to the stand-in situations. Like, we had a couple of notable
Paano guys? GG guys.
into the tournaments with stand-ins. None of them here in the grand final, so I do think that does say something. Say
12-hour
something
stream na pala
about
tayo.
how a team needs to be comfortable going into a landing in the right headspace. Secret though got close, and to me they were the standout team at this tournament.
Solid.
Just because of how well that
12-hour streaming na pala tayo.
I think that to me was definitely
Alas 7 tayo na 7
Two
PM
things,
tayo
return
nag-start.
of Chinese Dota, fantastic.
Wala pa pala.
And number 2, my boy Ana, just getting another opportunity on
Mga
land.
10 hours
Obviously, for
pala,
the team,
10 hours.
didn't work
10
out
hours
too well,
pala.
but how great to see him here playing live Dota once again.
I have to agree. You know, seeing some Ana Dota back on the menu, like I can only love that. Chinese Dota back on the menu. I think Faith Bian smile. You know, answering the interview in English, having him also the zero to hero kind of style. You know, had a really rough first day, and now, you know, ends up stomping every game he answers.
Sir.
Team Spirit finding their shape back. You know, Misha finally getting to a land that is also kind of nice.
What about the show match, Seb? Was that a highlight?
I forgot about
Selfie,
it.
right?
What are you even? What are you even referring to? I completely forgot. But I think it was a great tournament. So many highlights.
Okay, well, it's all great things have to come to an end, much like this tournament. So I think we'll be saying goodbye. But we do have something special prepared for you as the end of every day, as we switch over to the wide angle so we can all say this together. It's going to be the highlights, brought to you as always by Dr. Sulaiman Al-Habib.
Thank you,
Wala
Dr.
na.
Sulaiman Al-Habib.
Thank you.
Let's go guys.
Sorry,
GG everyone. Thank you sa panonood. G6 out. Thank you guys.